You are now listening to The Sports Table.
You know what's funny about Hailey? I went to a restaurant. I have to pick up some food. I go to the restroom, all Hispanic. You know, you see like flies everywhere. I look to my left, and it says blokes. I look to my right, and it says Sheila's. I'm like, so these are the doors at Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah, they just stole the Outback
They stole
doors.
the signs from the Outback Steakhouse, and they put it on the front of their doors.
With Chris.
I was hacked here at work on my Facebook, and a friend of mine posted a status of the closet is dark, I'm coming out. And everyone was like, it's about time. I have to change something about my personality. Bring my girlfriend as many places as I can.
Theo Carlos.
That first take show, for the love of Jesus, man. That's like watching the Bravo channel, man. With Skiptora Bayless and Stefania A. Smith. Give me a freaking break, man. Housewives of Bristol. And watch those two little bitches bicker back and forth.
Alan.
I'm very curious because they present something completely different from the general politics amongst the big families. And I just don't know what to expect out of those two. Maybe we're taking over a dragon?
What's that?
And Theo George.
No, yeah. No, except for last night. Yeah. I mean, no, you know what? I'm going to go back to watching. I don't know what I'm watching. Toda la mierda que está ahí, ¿qué cosa hay?
Because here, nothing is off the table.
Can you imagine that conversation when they start nailing it in there? Yes.
No, I want the explanation.
Que lo que es un bloke.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how many people?
¿Qué carajo esta Sheila?
You know
¿Cuánto va un Sheila?
You know how many people have stopped in front of the doors and gone back and asked, where the hell is the men's bathroom?
Porque vi un bloke ahí, pero ¿qué es eso?
¿Qué coño bloque y chila ni un carajo, chico?
You're making this really hard to do my. Hard to do that with this music.
I am, I know.
This is like depressing. I don't think we're there in the season yet, but.
Here's the line. There it is, Ozzy. Thank you.
We're all so tired.
Whoa, I am so tired of these Dolphins. I am so tired. Thank you, Ozzy.
Welcome back to the Sports Table, everybody. Another week.
Another week, another loss.
Woo! There you go. Alan, this is the second week in a row, man. That's what I want. It happens every time I say, woo, welcome back, and then you're supposed to go, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I wasn't listening. What was happening?
All right. Off to a great start. Big show today. We have a lot of sports, we have a lot of news, and we have a lot of guests today. Jam-packed show.
And we have great music.
And great music. Before we get into any of the music and any of the information we have, I'm Chris. I'm joined each week by my Theo Carlos to my left, Alan to my right. And
Hi-yo.
Theo George is off again. This time, it's not because he was tired or, he didn't want to tie his shoes.
No, it's because he's leaving tomorrow.
He's leaving tomorrow.
Not today. He's still here. He's leaving tomorrow.
He's leaving tomorrow out of town, so he can't make it. But we have one of the best off the bench. We have Stemmer sitting in the studio with us.
Peace.
He's our Ray Allen, baby.
Peace. Yeah, there you go. I like that, Ray Allen.
Stemmer coming in off the bench. This is the first time Stemmer and Carlos have been in the studio together, I think.
That's correct.
It's true. I might have to shift around so I can watch some of his antics. I think he's very, very animated over there.
At times.
He's the one that drives the show. I don't drive the show. Carlos does.
Yeah, but when I come in and do that, you yell at me.
Well, no, because a lot of times we'll start the show and then Stemmer goes, you know what we should talk about? And I'm like, okay,
It was one time. Second time back, I behaved myself.
Show hijacker.
We have guests to get to. Speaking of show hijackers, we have Mike Lubitz coming on at 8 o'clock, which is not that far from now, and we're not going to talk any sports with him on purpose. He's going to try to talk sports like he always does.
And we redirect him.
We are going to steer him away from sports.
Absolutely.
He's attending the Panthers game today, which I didn't know the Panthers were still playing, and I'm going to ask him questions about what the rules and regulations are of attending games as a fan. Because Lubitz is one of the crazier characters you will ever meet, and his perspective on attending games and interacting with other fans is going to be the best. So we'll have him at 8 o'clock. After Lubitz, we're going to have the great Jeff DeForest on the show. With
Man, what a freaking honor that is, man.
That is a tremendous
Having
honor.
listened to this man since I was like 8 years old, being
Right.
able to, and meeting him a few months ago, in person, and now being able to have him on what we call our show,
Right.
That's spectacular, man.
Well, we all work for his show, deforadio.com, so it's good to have the mainstay of his website coming on the show on the Sports Table with us. And we're not going to talk any sports with Defo. I mean, we might. We'll see where the conversation goes. With Jeff DeForest, you have no idea where you're going to end up.
That's true.
You can start talking about the day and you'll end up in a pastrami deli. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to end up in different places. So we'll have Defo on at after Lubitz. Then after Jeff DeForest, I'm going to ask what you guys think. Do you think we should have Diz on again? Last time we had Diz on was during the championship run that the Heat had lost. I think game 3? I think they lost game 3 to the Spurs, and we had him on, and he was saying LeBron James isn't clutch.
It's over.
It's over. LeBron's going to walk. That whole deal. Do you remember?
I don't want a Jordan apologist. It's okay.
Right. So that's right. He was talking a lot about Jordan. So he offered to come on the show with us today. It's the first time that's ever happened. So I don't want to lose that ability of having someone want to be on the show with us. But he's a Jets fan, so I guess we can ram him for that. Did you see that video? Did any of you see that video?
Oh, the punch
of the Jets fan punching the lady in the
murderer.
face?
Scumbags.
He's a murdering dirtbag.
Sure, it was Jets fan. That's all you got to say. You don't have to say anything else. Jets fan.
Scum of the earth.
Scum of the scum of the scum.
We posted on our Facebook, the Sports Table Miami. Reason number 67 why Jets fans are the worst, and we posted the video of the Jets fan. And what's really
reason number
funny?
68 is the fact that he's a murderer. I mean, he murdered somebody. So that would be the next reason.
I'm not sure which is worse, what he did or that 5-year-old who's telling a Tampa Bay fan to go bleep himself at a Jet game. You've never seen that, the little Jets fan?
No, dude.
They stop and, you suck! Your defense is soft!
Oh, my God. That is so
Yeah, I mean,
funny.
can you imagine? Just kind of propel yourself into the future, a la, what's his name, the Parkinson guy, and in the movie, and kind of
Wait, what?
Back to the Future.
there you go, back to your future yourself forward, and see what this little
Back
animal,
to your future yourself forward.
right, and see what this little animal Jet fan is going to be like when he's 20.
You could see, go to the stadium on any given Sunday. There's 40,000 of them up there.
You know who he'll end up being? He'll end up being Phil Diz Dominic, and that's what we're going to have on, I guess, at 9
I guess
o'clock.
we are going to have him on.
I
Just
thought
for
you were
that.
deciding whether
You know
to
what?
have
I
him or
think
not.
I decided based off that.
Let's rail on him, on his fans and his people and all those
Yeah.
nasty
We'll talk.
New Yorkers.
Because he's given stories of pride where he's gotten into fights in the stadium with Dolphin fans. So that's the kind of class that Jets fans have altogether, and that's what we're going to bring to
Stay
our show.
classy, New York.
Yeah, exactly.
Incredible.
Little known fact, by the way, about that guy that punched the lady in the face. I want to say 5 minutes prior, he took a picture with the Jets owner. He had his hand over the arms of the Jets owner. It was like one of those photo ops. 2 minutes later, he's knocking a Patriots fan in
There you
the
go.
face and
And
knocks
again,
her
There
it
you go,
works
Woody.
from the
Watch
top
your Woody
down.
Fields
From the
fans.
top down, baby.
out. Yeah, that's
I'm sure-
exactly
you know
right.
what? It might have been Woody that hit him. That hit the lady.
So we're going to have him on. We have so much sports. I don't know how we're going to work it all with all these guests. Dolphins lost again. They lost 3 straight, and they're 3-3. And every single one of us have an hour of venting to do. So we're going to try to squeeze as much as we can into that.
Venting or venom?
Both. I mean,
I think it's both. One and the same.
there's what else to say about this team but venom. I mean, it's not. It's bad. It's bad. It's not as bad. It's not 7-9 again. Because if the Dolphins go 7-9 again, it'll be the first time on air where someone will shoot themselves in the face, and that's gonna be breaking history. Then we have the Hurricanes. They are laid their sanctions by the NCAA, and we'll get into what that means for the Hurricanes and for what the NCAA is.
Donna Shalala strong-armed those
And
bastards.
Donna
Like,
They're
Shalala.
afraid
she
of leprechauns.
feared them. Yes, they are.
Indianapolis is afraid of leprechauns.
She feared them into this.
I picture her like Zach Randolph, just with her big ass, just like boxing out the NCAA, just
No,
completely
bro.
moving them out of the
She
way.
called in the big guns.
Yeah.
Hey, I used to be part of Clinton's cabinet.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, have a nice
She
day.
used her
Get outta here.
clout. That's
And
right.
that clout was going to get really, really used had they come down with another bowl sanction or
Yeah.
some more ridiculous stuff.
Yeah. So we have
She's a gangster. She's a gangster.
We have games to talk to. We have World Series starts in 2 days. Unfortunately, I thought we were gonna have Jorge's dad on the show so we can talk to him and just hear Papi 2.0. Just
Well,
on
it just seems
steroids.
that, it seems that he's as reliable as George.
As his son.
The apple don't fall far from the tree, or the mango don't fall far from the tree in that case.
So we're gonna talk some baseball. We have the NFL and we have the Heat starting in 8 days. And Derrick Rose is already being crowned. He's already being crowned MVP and
comeback player of the year.
Yeah, all of it.
And he's not going to play.
I'm going to throw up on the microphone.
So we have a lot to get to today. You know what? Before we get into anything, I say we move up these guests 10 minutes early so we have plenty of time to get to all the Dolphins talk. Coming up next, early break, we're going to come back with the great Mike Lubitz and play a game with him of Lubitz Laws coming up next. Where you get the thing that I don't like is, or I try to avoid with us, is the best conversations are always off mic.
They are, huh?
And I always try to keep it on mic.
When I come in, I'm afraid to say anything to start a conversation because I want it to be
on air. Yeah, exactly.
There's so much crap roaming around in my head, bro.
What happened? I walked in here and you guys were already
just praising Al Golden and what he's accomplished.
My comment was within hours after the sanctions today, they got one of the best JUCO recruits in the country to commit like that.
Well, I mean, one of the things I think is going to happen now is I think you're going to see this program flourish in the next couple of years.
And my point was, I made this earlier to someone else I was speaking to, they really, and I would say the same thing about Jim Larrañaga, but to a lesser extent, they need to be willing to tell Al Golden, and maybe they have behind the scenes, we don't know, whatever you want, you can have. Like, don't ever leave us. Like, no, but think about, like, forget about the coaching aspect of it for a second. He walked into a situation, he was hit in the back of the head with a hammer. He decided to stay, and he could have gone other places. It wasn't like, oh, this is big time for me and I got nowhere to go. He could have gone other places. He stayed true to his word, which not even the infamous Butch Davis could do. And he not only did he do all that, but he competed against negative recruiting time and time again. Dude, you got to know, guys, as nice of a guy Jimbo Fisher might be, you got to know he's telling the recruits out of Miami-Dade that are 5-star recruits, bro, you don't know what's going to happen at UM. The cloud's hanging over their head. And he won. He won more battles than he lost. He has us number 7 on the BCS. We haven't been there in 6-7 years. And I just think that foresight is whatever he wants to get. If Texas comes a calling because Mac Brown needs to go and says, here's blank amount of money, UM needs to be ready to say whatever it takes to keep this guy, we got to do it.
Yeah, what scares me is the fact that I just don't think that UM has that kind of money.
They don't.
And they're not willing. They don't have that alumni base.
But I think the good thing for them is I think in Al Golden, they got a guy that whatever he's not, like if he won't necessarily jump for the higher amount of money. It's going to be about making him feel, hey, dude, you hooked us up big time. We want you to stay. What is it going to take?
What are you talking about?
Well,
anybody's going to leave.
You're talking about going from
what are you talking
$900,000 to $3.4 million.
He's making no.
Listen,
Look,
let me tell you this.
They'll pay
First
him.
of all,
they'll pay him a couple $1 million.
The Hurricanes.
That's
number 7.
Almost double what anybody's ever gotten paid here.
I still think they'll give it to him.
The Hurricanes at number 7, first of all, are overrated. And we're going to see in 2 weeks how overrated we are at number 7 because Florida State is going to crush Miami.
I don't think Miami is overrated at number 7. I think Miami is.
You think Miami's the 7th best country team in the country?
Yeah, because I don't think much of 4, 5, and 6. I mean, when you're talking about I'm not impressed with anything
from your vantage
with Missouri.
Missouri, I'm not impressed with them, but I am impressed with Alabama, Florida State, and Oregon.
I think what you're saying has validity in this fact. It's hard for us to believe that's a number 7 team, but I also think what he says has validity. If you look around at the landscape, what else is there?
Mm-hmm.
Could they like Clemson? Look what they did to Clemson, and they went into Clemson.
Clemson got crushed.
And
that's going to be Miami.
Well.
That's going to be Miami. Second thing overall.
The FSU Miami series always seems to have a way of and I don't disagree. They could absolutely obliterate UM. I don't disagree with that at all. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, and I'm one of those that I have that tempered we're back. Like, yeah, we're better, but this isn't the UM you're used to. And they found lightning in a bottle, and Jameis Winston or whatever, famous Jameis. They found lightning in a bottle, to be honest with you.
And number 2, second point, aside from that the Canes are a little bit overrated, is that Miami, hard to say. Miami is not a destination school. It's not. Miami is no
coaches.
longer.
Well,
Yeah, for
it's never
coaches.
been. It's never been.
but that's
No,
because
it
they can't-
used to be.
a
No,
destination school.
no.
It's always
They've
been a
never-
stepping stone.
Yeah,
It never was.
That's
for
all
head
about.
coaches. Never.
Yeah, and that's all about money. I would say prestige wise,
because of money.
I think I agree with him. You're going to see the pendulum swing back a little bit. They'll be consistent top 10 program as long as they don't. You're talking for 2014 before today. They had the number 4 recruiting class in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That's crazy with NCAA sanctions looming over you. That's nuts. And so hopefully going forward,
What was the recruiting class for the Ja'Cory from that Northwestern class? What
that
was
was number 1.
Yeah, I was.
But here's the
Oh,
difference.
man.
Well,
But
if
wait,
you look
come
at
on,
recruiting
man.
classes across the board,
no, yeah.
you can Alabama's had number 1,
But
Notre Dame's
this
had
is-
number 1, but they
This
don't
is
always
what I'll offer you.
translate.
This is what I'll offer you. That to me, that was more hype. Like there was no one knew much about Ja'Cory. That was about what Northwestern had done. A group of these kids had come from Northwestern. They got Streeter was. I don't think he was from Northwestern. I think he was from up the street. They got the Washington kid, Harris, the Harris kid from up the street, and from Booker T. And so, I think what the difference is he's recruiting football players, high football IQ, as well as the athletes. I think they've been able to survive. Like if you look, they're not bringing in a bunch of 5-star recruits for it. They're bringing in a lot of 3 and 4s, sprinkled in with some 5s.
And you coach them up.
Yeah, they're coaching them up, and I think you have a higher intelligence value in the recruits they're bringing in terms of what they're going to work hard. They're going to. I mean, we can go lists of people who either A, weren't coached up, or B, never reached their potential because they didn't think they had to work. Sam Shields is a great example of that. To me, Sam Shields is the biggest indictment on Randy Shannon you'll ever see. He goes to Green Bay, and basically Green Bay's saying, we have to teach this guy how to study film.
Yeah.
How do you leave a program, a D1 program that's got Miami's reputation, you don't know how to study film? That's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, Frank Gore left without learning how to read, so.
Well, we could go another direction with that.
I get the fact that we want Al Golden because he stuck with us. He brought in, what was the offensive line coach that left for a while?
Art Kehoe.
Kehoe, and, he's an outsider, but he's a Miami guy now because of sticking through whatever. I get that. But if USC calls, or like you said, Texas calls, or anyone else, I cannot blame the guy for walking. Miami's not a good place to stay.
I think we're in a better place because Penn State. He went to Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Like Notre Dame. There's a couple places that have come open recently, and you can't tell me through the back channels, that wasn't investigated. He's been a hot property since he came to Miami, and he chose through thick and thin to stay. So that's what I say when they throw a bag of money at him. I'm not sure he's going to. Now, yes, if it's $900,000 versus $3 million, if UM doesn't come back with some sort of "we love you, we want you to stay, this is what we can offer you," yes, I agree he would jump ship. But I think they just need to be committed to look. We will do everything we can to make sure you're taken care of here. Now, what that is, to what extent that is, I don't know. Private university, I mean, it's well documented. They do not have the funds, especially some place like Texas. 2 years ago, when they were at the height of their power, 4 or 5 years ago, you're at $90 million in a year. That's ludicrous money. That's mad money.
And you know what? Whether or not this happens against Florida State or not, I think it's been a successful season because the NCAA didn't come down with another bowl ban.
Well,
Absolutely.
one of the guys I like following on Twitter, he's a great writer. You should follow him if you don't. Tim Reynolds of the AP. He goes Miami 7-0 today, and I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
They won a big time game today.
What do you say about the people that are pissed off, like the president of USC and people from Ohio
This
State?
is part of my end of it, but I just they don't see the whole picture. I'm sorry. Like I looked up the USC bowl ban because I heard of Joe Hayden. They got hammered pretty hard, and I after reading a story on ESPN, which I'll share a little quote later if we talk NCAA later, not necessarily Canes. They got a 2-year bowl ban. They had 10 scholarships a year for 3 years. That's 30 scholarships. And that wasn't the type of stuff they were talking about. I mean, you're talking about Reggie Bush taking gobs of money, I guess was the big deal, the Hummer and so on. And then
in the house.
It was Mayo.
Yes.
So it's funny because they think UM was bigger but it was spread out over more players. You start comparing facts and figures, it's about the same. But what we'll never be able to quantify is how many recruits Miami lost simply because of the length of the investigation and stuff like that. I mean, we know they reduce scholarships. They just won't tell us how many. And so it's easy for them to say Miami got off easy, but, dude, it's 2 bowl bans. And then a lot of people consider that the ACC game they gave up last year is a 3rd bowl. So if you look at it that way, they gave up more bowls than USC did. And then, I mean, so they lost 30. We're going to lose 9 that we know of. Let's say they give up another 10, and I think that's a very modest. Now you're at 19, and you got to think they lost at least 11 recruits over the years. And I would say they might have lost 11 a year. We don't even know because guys like Jimbo Fisher. I mean, even the smaller schools in the state, the USC's. You got to think they're telling these kids, look, you don't know what's going to happen. You're going to go there. You're not going to go play in a bowl. They're going to ban you from TV. And so, I just think it's a lot harsher than what people know because we'll never be able to quantify the way it affected you. Dude, the story broke November 2009. So you're talking you're 1 month away from 4 years they had to deal with this.
What's the last segment that we do of this show called?
Come mierda.
There you go.
Oh, man, I'm so happy you're here. Comer?
Yeah.
Mierda.
Hey,
I'm going to call Lubitz.
If you don't like my come mierdas, then leave me alone.
No. Who was it, Alan? Who was here last week? Oh, it was Rudy. It was Rudy.
Yeah, it was Rudy.
He said Comel with an L. Comel mierda. It's funny.
You want me to just say shit talker?
That's not what that is. Someone that eats shit.
Well,
That's the difference.
there is a difference. I agree.
Lubitz, just putting this next guess in perspective, he's been angry for a long time here because there's been stuff here at work. So I when I called him, he wasn't in the best of moods. So I'm just gonna
Poke him.
Yeah, I'm gonna poke him a little bit, and then he's gonna want to talk sports, and again we're gonna poke him again, and not talk any sports. So an agitated Lubitz.
I'm so tired. I haven't slept a wink. I'm so tired.
I wonder what Lubitz thinks of the song.
Mind is on the blink. I wonder
Should I get up and fix myself a drink? We're all tired, aren't we, of these
Tired,
Dolphins?
man. Tired of the Dolphins.
We're all tired of these freaking Dolphins, man.
Oh, God.
Welcome back to the Sports Table. I'm here again, joined with Theo, Carlos, Stemmer, Allen, and we got the first guest of the show today. One of my personal favorites of joining us, the great and powerful Mike Lubitz.
Yes,
Luby,
Mike
there.
Lubitz.
There was so many things wrong with that statement. I don't know where to begin. First of all, if I'm one of your favorites, there's a hell of a lot more wrong with you than there is with me. And great and powerful, I'm passionate and crazy. I don't know if we go with great and powerful, but what's going on, Sports Table? How you guys doing?
Listen, man, last time we had you on, it was Game 6 of the finals, and we talked 25 minutes of you being in the stands, okay? So that's one of my favorite interviews, all right? You can't hate on me for that.
That was good. That was spectacular.
Yeah, that might be the best one we've ever had.
Listen, Lubitz, looking back at that day, and now that you see the Heat season starting up again, just could you believe that you were there, dude? I mean, we saw it on TV. You were there. You're going to tell your kids, that are going to be yelling back at you that you were at the game.
They can see it. That's the funny thing is that will go down. I won't say that will go down in infamy, as they always say. During the time I was so stressed out with how the series was going because as much as I am a broadcaster, I am a fan. So I couldn't enjoy it. But looking back at it now, I was like, wow, that was pretty cool. You're at the finals, back-to-back championships. Ray Allen hits a three, and then they go to Game 7, and you're there asking the question that probably got the most airplay of any question throughout the finals. So It was a very surreal experience. And it's the kind of thing you can tell your kids and thank God they won because I wouldn't want to talk to my kids about that final.
Right.
And how do you tell your kids this, man? Kind of propel yourself into the future.
No, back to yourself to the future.
Right.
Let's say it again.
Have YouTube.
Back
Who knows
yourself
what
into
they
the
have
future and show your kids to play and show your kids to hit and tell them I was there.
Yeah, you just said it. That's basically what I never really planned it, honestly, how I'm going to talk to my kids about it, but it's pretty much sells itself. I mean, okay, put it this way. And I thought it was fun and it was a cool thing being there and asking Wade a question. And what's funny is because all these reporters are sitting there, in a big room, and it's a lot of the biggest NBA people worldwide, and only about 5 guys ask questions. And I'm sitting there going, I don't get it. Aren't you guys supposed? This is your job, business, what you do. You don't have anything to say to Wade. He just won his third championship. You have nothing to say. I'm like, well, I could definitely ask something. So then with the question, I asked it, and then looking at it later, I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And the funny thing about it is my family, because my sister was getting married, I think that weekend. So we ended up having a lot of family gatherings, and for like 5 days straight, that ran on like loop at my parents' house. So it was like, you know how Saban said he ran the loop that A&M and Alabama lost last year. Well, my parents ran on the loop, me asking that ridiculous question. So I don't know. Before I even show them, their grandparents will probably show them that same question.
Come on, admit it. You're gonna be one of those dads. It'll be like 15 years in the future. You're gonna be I called that shot. I called Ray Allen's shot. I knew he was gonna hit the shot. I knew that Chris Bray. You know you're gonna tell your story like that.
I might make it up because I didn't know that. I was one of the people that wanted to get the hell out of it. I didn't know crap.
I told him to take the yellow tape down.
Yeah, we talked that day. Remember how nervous I was?
Yeah.
About Game 7?
Yep.
I am not a confident fan. I'm the opposite, especially when it comes to my team. Either of the team I should be confident with, but you let off with the Fins, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot about them. What they've done to me as a fan, I am not very confident when it comes to my teams. So the way that series went, even that it was going to Game 7 at home, I still felt it was leaning Spurs because the Heat needed a miracle, and the world said, well, momentum. I did allude to about it last week. Momentum's a bunch of crap.
Listen, you're the greatest person I've ever met at the Shameless Plug, dude. You have no shame at all. This guy said, hopefully there's a YouTube, the Lube
I don't care
Tube.
about I said YouTube. I don't have anything on YouTube. But I just, because people use momentum, this word momentum. Momentum's crap. Right? If momentum won championships, the Spurs were 1-5.
Right.
So everyone said momentum was with the Heat, and I laughed. I said, no, that's nonsense. The Spurs have outplayed the Heat for most of this series. LeBron's been okay. Wade's been nowhere. Ray Allen's been average. So going into Game 7, all I thought was the Heat were going to lose that game. So I was not confident. I will be totally honest. Even after that shot, I said, I'm glad they're pissed. Now it took them 6 games into the finals to get pissed.
Right.
But I don't know.
Well, Lubitz, you're on your way right now to the Panthers game, right? Are you still going to the Panthers game?
I am running a little late to the Panthers game, yes.
Okay.
Oh, typical Miami fan. Show up in the third period. Good job.
Well, listen, Lubitz,
Exactly.
I want to play this game with you. We're calling this the Laws of Lubitz, okay, where we ask you different scenarios and you basically lay out what you think the rules and regulations are. And the first one I want to get to today is the Law of Lubitz of today is attending games. You're attending a Panthers game. You talked about attending, the Heat game. So I'm going to ask you a few scenarios, a few questions, and you tell me what's right or wrong in that scenario, cool?
Yes.
Okay, when is it ever okay? Stemmer talked about Miami fans. When is it ever okay to leave early for a game? Is it ever okay?
It's funny, what I am now and what I used to be. When I was growing up, my mom, the way the Seminoles were leading last week, my mom is the kind of person that would not have left that game. And I said, listen, Mom, if I'm a Clemson fan, I'm leaving in the third quarter. I'm not sitting through my
third quarter. You left at halftime.
I'm not sitting through that. But I grew up in a family where you never leave. I went to Florida State when we were down, so I left a lot of games early. I don't know. People do this. Well, you're not a real fan. That's nonsense. If a movie sucks, people leave, right? Okay.
Right.
If dinner sucks, people don't go back. So why can't we be the same thing as a fan? If I'm watching my team and they look like they don't care, why should I care? So personally,
So
if your
blowouts.
team's getting routed,
Yeah.
you can leave. And if people want to talk crap about you, that's their bad. Who cares? So yeah, I was one of those people that got up. I didn't leave Game 6 because I'm part of the press and it would have looked bad. But I got up and was very antsy, and I sided with all of it. Listen, 5 points down with 25 seconds. Yeah, they did end up winning, but it was miraculous. In some of these games, when the Canes were killing USF, if you left in the fourth quarter and you're a USF fan, I have sentiment toward you. So yeah, the rules of the laws of Lubitz, when your team's getting annihilated and you know sports enough to know that it will take a Tracy McGrady scoring 8 points in 3 seconds kind of comeback, you can leave. And if you hear about it on the radio on the way home, Thank God you didn't fall out of your chair at the stadium and you get to be in your safe car.
There you go.
Let's try to keep these under 20 minutes each, dude, because I have like 8 of these, all right?
Exactly. All right, I'll keep them shorter. Next
What's the rule of trying to move down to seats that are not yours? Like, you're in the upper section and you see empty seats at the bottom. What's the Lubitz law of moving down in the stadium?
If I'm with my dad, immediately. And if I'm with my fiance, by myself.
You're going to leave her?
She won't go.
No, I'll stay with her. It sucks because I hate sitting in the seat. If the bottom row's open and you're at a Marlins game or a Panthers game.
What do you mean? All the seats are open at a Marlins game.
Yeah, but
like,
a Marlins,
you gotta
Marlins
go
game's
pick.
open country. That's like trying to discover Oklahoma.
Probably the only seat you can't take is the one next to Lurie to rag on him. That's probably the only one they won't let you have.
I thought he lives like in a bat cave or something in the upper
Now
deck.
you go immediately. What are you talking about?
Hey, Mike,
Yeah,
is that
you go.
because your fiance won't go?
Yeah, she is embarrassed. Like she's like weirded out by like people asking you to move, and I say, well, that's their seat. I don't feel bad moving. I'll move to the next seat, and I'll move again.
Well, is she against
come from a long
sales?
line of
Is
seat
she
movers.
against sales and stores too? Like she doesn't like to get clothes discounted. You're getting a better seat.
She's classy. I don't know. She's the opposite of me.
I don't want you to get in trouble because then you won't have
Class
those.
has
That,
nothing to do
no.
with it.
He won't have
She
that
doesn't-
kid conversation
Yeah,
later on.
that's true,
Exactly.
that's
That's all right.
Let's see.
She knows all how I feel. Yeah, we're very opposite people. I don't get embarrassed at all, and she's easily embarrassed. So I don't know how the hell she's with me, but we don't talk about those things out loud.
Okay, so
Immediately.
immediately, that's fair. When you go to a game, let's say you're going to a game with a group of people and you just hand out the tickets to everybody else. What's the seating chart like? The ticket that you get is the exact seat, or do you switch around when you're there? Because when I went to a Marlins game and we went to the same game together.
Yeah.
We had like 13 people. Okay, all these people came because of me, and they didn't really know each other that well. I ended up being the first person in the aisle, and I sat at the very end, and it sort of threw off my whole game because I wanted to sit next to people that watched my game, not my girlfriend. So,
that sucks.
so what do you do? Like when you see the people going to their aisle, do you sort of like position yourself halfway in the middle so you can sit in the middle? You stand next to somebody you want to sit next to. What's the seating chart like when you go to a game with Lubitz?
You don't go with that many people. I'll give you credit. It's annoying to me to go with that many people. Like you have to worry about them, and they're annoying. They want to get up
I
every
kind of
freaking
agree
inning.
with that. I like that.
They get up every. I hate that. I hate the getting up every inning kind of thing. That's the most annoying thing to me in the whole world. You're going to a game, watch the damn game. So honestly, I don't care where I sit as long as people leave me the hell alone. That I don't look at the ticket. I don't care what the ticket is. My fiance again is the one that wants to sit in the exact seat and wants the exact ticket for the exact seat. I don't care, man. I'm at the game to watch the game. I don't care where the seat is. I don't even care who I sit next to, honestly.
Really?
Like, I've sat next to her parents, and they don't even care about baseball at a game. So, you know me. I watch the game by myself. I'm basically in my own world. No matter if there's 20,000 people there or it's me in my room, I'm by myself most of the time.
It's the same
I
idea,
don't care
huh?
what the seat is.
It's the same idea for you, whether you're in your room watching it or in the stadium.
Yep. I'm a crazy psycho, and I don't care who's around.
And you're
And
telling
that's why my fiance doesn't go to games with me.
and you're telling her parents to move down, right? And they're like, "What is this guy saying?"
Yeah, exactly. So I appreciate you analyzing the seat because it should add to the game experience.
Right.
It's the same reason why at a tailgate I really don't drink, because drunk or not, I'm the same crazy guy, so it doesn't really friggin' matter. I go to a game and I watch the game and I care about the game and not the halftime show or the snack bar.
Well, that was my next question. What are the tailgate guidelines when you watch a game? Are you supposed to get there early enough to cook something, eat it, and then get into the game, or just there quick enough to drink something and go in? What's the tailgate guidelines?
See, you guys, I don't know, I'm not to be stereotypical, but I give Cuban a lot of credit. They do a great tailgate. Go eat your food. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not a tailgater. Like, I didn't grow up on a family tailgater. So we got there, we ate before the game, we got there about half an hour before the game, watched whatever the pregame activities were, and watched the game. Like, I was never into tailgating until college. And even in college at Florida State, the spear is my favorite part of the game, especially when we sucked. So you guys would get there, like, after kickoff, they're, like, pounding the keg and getting there after kickoff. And I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? You're going to miss Chibassiola. They're like, who's that? I'm like, oh, my God, you're a senior. How do you not know who Chibassiola is? So I would leave by myself. Like, I would walk 2 miles from the tailgate because you would park miles away, and I would walk by myself because people didn't care about getting there for the game. It was all about the tailgate. I'm telling you, my family is crazy when it comes to sports.
Right.
The game is what you're there for. You're there for the game. You stay to the end of the game. You drive home in the traffic, and then you do the same thing over again the next game.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, the tailgate activity for me is game. I'm game.
Okay. When you're in the seats, okay, and you're watching the game, and there's always someone from the other team that's there, or a drunk, obnoxious person of your own team that's in the same stands with you, how do you deal with the unruly, obnoxious douchebag that's there? Do you say something? Do you not? Do I just avoid them? What do you do with
I
someone?
got that sign now. Text unruly fans. You tell
Yeah,
'em.
but there's
Oh,
Lubitz
no,
has
that's
his
the
own
lamest.
system.
Have you tell me you haven't really texted that number?
I'm joking.
My
No, I'm
fiance
totally
friends me.
joking.
Yeah,
dude.
this guy, I'm about to turn his mic off. What was
Tell me
that?
you haven't texted that number. That's sad.
Yeah.
My fiance always friends me with that, and I'm like, if you text, she wants to kick me out of the game. I'm like, I'm your ride. You can't kick me out of the game.
She knows you'll wait. She knows you'll wait.
In her eyes, you're the unruly fan, huh?
I am. Oh no, I am. She won't go to a basketball game with me. She won't go.
So what do
She's
you
on the
do?
Panthers.
What do you do
What
when someone's there?
I,
Yeah.
I hate it. I'm bad. Like, if someone's annoying, it really bothers me. I'm not going to start a fight. I'm not, because I don't want to ruin the experience for everybody. But I'll look at them. I'll give them a bunch of looks. I'm not scared to look at them. And I'll even say, shh. I've been known to say, shh. I've been known to say, well, I don't care if you yell. I think if you're at a game, you should be able to yell and scream. But if they're, like, wasted and they're ruining the experience for everybody, I'll say something. Like, I mean, come on. You were there to have a good time, enjoy yourselves. If you're, like, wasted and you're starting crap with everybody.
Well, tell me the
That's
story. Tell
the
me the
ruined
story when
experience.
that happened. Tell me the story when that happened.
Well, the only times I remember happening is I'm the one that they're yelling at. So I'll tell you the best one. Game 5, Giants-Marlins, 2003 playoff. Yes, the game with the greatest play in playoff history, considering no other series has ended on a play at the plate. And the Marlins were winning the whole game. The Giants are coming back, and I don't trust Dontrell Willis. There's a point where he pitched well, and looking back, they give him credit, but he didn't pitch well. He was a loose cannon. And there's an older Latin guy. I moved seats. That's the funny thing. I moved seats in that game, and there was like 75,000 people there. And I met up with my parents, and I start doing the negative paranoid Jew. And I'm like, they're going to lose. They give up one hit, and it's late in the game, and they're still leading. And I'm like, they're going to lose. They're going to lose. And this guy turns to me, and he was a nice guy. I'd done it for like 2 innings now. And we're in the ninth inning, and he turns to me, and he's like, they're still winning. And he was a quiet old Cuban guy. And he's like, they're still winning. Why are you yelling? I'm like, oh my God, I felt like the biggest jackass ever. Everyone in the whole section is looking at me like I'm mentally deficient. And I end up shutting up. They end up making the play at the plate. And at the end of the game, he looks at me and he points and says, I told you. I'm like, you have a grudge. I'm like, golly. So, yes, I was that guy. Thank God he didn't text the numbers. That's why maybe I'm against the number.
Right.
The only time that I've ever really done it is I don't know the exact story, but I remember looking at people and saying, we're watching a game here, guy, and getting in a little bit of a tussle verbally. But people usually, if you call them out, I've noticed, as jackassy as they are in Miami, they're so used to not getting called out that when you call them out, they usually shut up.
Lubitz, when you are celebrating something, because when something goes crazy, you go good. When something goes bad, it's even worse. What's the stranger high five like with you? Do you give the stranger high five?
Yes.
You do? Are you the guy that's leading it on? Like, multiple, both hands going.
I've done hugs, yes. In that same Cuban guy that yelled at me, we were hugging.
Guys like you make me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know. That's why my own fiance. She's like, you're hugging me. I don't even want to hug you. You don't want, most people don't want that much physical interaction. And normally, I would not myself, but we just won a playoff game, so I don't care. Yeah, that's I'm the overly excitable fan winner guy.
What do you say to the guy that's trying to start the cheer? You know that guy that's always
I hate
at the
that.
bottom.
The wave.
The wave.
Yeah, or the wave guy,
hate
not the
wave.
cheer. The wave.
I
Yeah.
hate the wave. Like everyone else is so happy the wave, and me and my dad, we're like old school. So I've sat down through a wave.
You drown in the wave.
Good
Like the wave overtakes
a good
you.
wave. Like they always try to wave because they're bored, and the women and the kids, and they don't care about the game, so they're bored, so they're trying to wave, and they finally get it, and they're so excited they got the wave. And I've been the jerk off that will sit through the wave. I will admit that. I have sat through the wave. So actually what I do, I will totally ruin the moment.
Don't feel
and
bad.
sit
I've done the
through
same thing. I've absolutely
because
done
it's
that.
stupid. We're there for a game. Like I understand now that you have the Dallas Stadium, AT&T, where everyone goes to do everything but go to the game. But I guess I'm a 75-year-old in a 31-year-old body. I like the day and game. Like I've made this my life for a reason, like, and the people that go there to text on their phone and talk on their phone the whole time. You talk about stories. I remember telling a lady, ma'am, there's a game going on. I remember doing that. Yes, that I did do.
The worst part of that whole interaction is when I'm in the section after, and he's like, come on to us, because he got his section going, but the section after we don't get up. So he's like, come on, and he goes like, oh, guys, and everyone in my section is going, fuck you, dude.
I've never gotten that. I've never actually been called out and like made to be embarrassed because I was the bad fan.
Yeah, man.
I admit that. That's pretty bad, actually. I'll give you credit for that one.
Lubitz, last question before we let you go. When you're at the game and you're there with your fans and the game is over, are you the one that's hurrying up the stands to get out to the? So you're pushing people to the side, basically. Excuse me, miss, I'm trying to get through, sort of stuff.
I don't know if I've ever knocked an old lady over. I will admit that. I don't think I'm that bad, but I have tracked my fiance because she's a really slow walker and it's so annoying that I remember grabbing her and pulling her arm out of her side.
Oh, my God, man.
Babe, it's Miami. We don't leave now. We're never going to leave.
How does she still go to games with you?
Right.
Like, how is
It's
she not
very
giving
rare.
up on this
It's very
experience?
Like, we're going to the Panthers because I don't care about the Panthers that much, so she's okay with going to the Panthers because she knows I'll just sit there and be calm, the calmest I'll be at a game. But she told me she really doesn't want to go to an FSU game with me, and I probably can get tickets to Heat games, but she does not want to go to a Heat game with me. She has sworn off the Heat. She will not go to a Heat game with me. So I don't know how she does it. I give her a lot of credit. You should interview her. The fact that she's still going through with this wedding is a miracle. It's
We might have to do that one of these days.
Yes.
I want to broadcast the Lubitz
wife
wedding.
Of the wife of the Lube. Yeah, exactly.
Well, Lubitz,
I don't know.
such an evil laugh.
I don't know. Why? Okay, let me ask you. Do you sit in the row nicely and wait for people to leave so you don't have traffic?
No,
Is that what you do?
I just walk like a normal human being, a part of society. I don't push
drag
people to
anybody.
the side.
I don't drag anybody on their chest as I'm
Yeah, I
trying to
just
leave.
walk with the person in front of me.
Does your girlfriend require skis when you do this?
You're like, I walk like a human. I'm like, wait, what's that? I've never been a human before. I've never been known as that person. I really wouldn't know how to do that.
Well, Lubitz, since we got you going to a hockey game, what's your feeling on Snuggies at the game?
Oh, God. People tell me people wear Snuggies at the game. People wear Snuggies. You're
Pick
lying.
up your
You guys are
official
lying.
Florida Panthers Snuggie, baby.
You know what? You
guys
know
are
what you
lying.
should do tonight, Lube? If
In
you
public,
see
people wear Snuggies in public.
Lube-
I'm embarrassed to wear Snuggie at my home.
Lubitz,
Can't wear
if
a
you
Snuggie
see
in public.
if you see somebody in a Snuggie tonight, please take a picture and
Yes,
put it
I
on
will.
Instagram. Put it on Instagram.
I will. I will take a picture and I will pull it. Make sure you guys post it on DeFo.com
Yeah.
and post it on your YouTube and all the stuff you guys. I know Sports Table is actually a lot more interactive than the rest of us. We got to catch up to the Sports Table. They're setting the pace here at DeFo.com. But yes, I will be out there. And now
Shameless plug.
I will be looking for Snuggies. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well,
and if
yeah.
I do see Snuggies, you're going to be like, you're going to wake up at 3 in the morning going, remember, I get up at 5 or I get up at 4. You're going to go, why is there so many pictures of people in these weird sweaters? It's going to be mad movie Snuggie pics.
Or any group of 4 or 5 guys sharing a blanket. If you
Oh,
see,
no.
That'd be hilarious.
we
Oh,
definitely
my
want to
God.
see that.
Going to?
I know.
What
But
games are you going to? I don't think I've ever seen
Look,
any of that.
we're just concerned. It's cold.
It's a hockey game. It's a hockey game in Miami. What do you expect?
It's hockey. It's cold, and
And-
Cubans don't deal well with cold.
and
There's
they're-
a chance some of this might happen.
and they're 2-7, so everybody can go there, and you don't expect to be
I
seen.
know are not very, touchy-feely. I've never seen a bunch of Cubans cuddling together under a blanket. So you know what? You guys might be more fun to go to. Most guys are like macho men. You guys are holding each other.
Hey, I hate to tell you this,
tenderly
I ain't getting under a
blanket.
blanket with anybody.
Hey, but again, if you're going to do it, the hockey game's a perfect place. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
They're losing. You're not going to get seen probably.
True. That's very
So,
true.
so be on the lookout.
I will be on the lookout for the Snuggies, and Chris, be ready for some Snuggie pics.
You got it, bro. Thanks, man.
We appreciate you coming on with us, Lubitz. Always enjoy it, man.
All right, guys. Whenever you want to know the Luby laws, get at me, and I'll be sure to share them with you.
You got it.
Later.
Thanks again, Lubitz.
Bye.
All right, brother.
Peace.
That was Mike Lubitz. He always does a good job. He's still one of my favorites, man.
That was good, man. That was really good.
No,
This
good
guy's
stuff.
a character. Coming up next, Jeff DeFo, so don't go anywhere.
Now listen to me, devil. Let me tell you what I'm gonna do. You walked on me long enough.
so tired of you, Devil. Who's that for?
Yeah, it's for Jeffrey. Jeffrey.
Which one? Is it
Well-
there's two. We got two.
Yes, but the other one doesn't exist right now.
Yeah.
The other one doesn't exist right now. We're just talking about Ireland.
Or are we sticking with Laurie as Joffrey?
Joffrey's over there. We're talking about Jeffrey.
Ross doesn't get any of this.
What's that?
Ross doesn't get any of this.
No, the
Stephen Ross?
problem.
He's the one. He's taking it. He's definitely taking it from Ireland. I don't know how he's pulling this off over on him, but again, to give a man an extension based on his resume here.
I just think that
Wow.
was. I'm not ready to fault. Ross has tried to do everything to do it right. He just.
Oh, really?
Well, explain that to me. How
Really?
do you,
Because
how do you justify this general manager for the amount of time he's here and
What about
Colomisi.
even before that?
Look.
He has a
Tyson
coach.
Clabo.
He has a coach. He flies across country to get another coach with this same general manager behind the other coach's back. I mean, what do you mean this
but
guy
when I
does it
say
the right
no,
way?
he wants to win. He's shown that he's willing to pay. That's what I'm talking about. You can't expect an owner to do much, especially if he doesn't know.
Well, have you not
the
heard?
league.
I mean, I'm sure you've heard that old saying: "Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die." I mean, give me a break. I
But
mean,
the thing is, it's obvious what happens. Jeff Ireland and who
he's got
knows who else?
pictures.
Well,
He's got and he's got two daughters
Look,
that draw pictures
It was
for
simply,
Stephen
it
Ross,
was
and they put
simply
it there.
They bamboozled him and convinced him that the disaster that was all Bill Parcells. That's what happened. There's no other explanation
Nah.
for
It is, man.
That's
You haven't
what
been
happened.
watching.
I don't buy
He
that.
grabbed Caitlin and Ashley by the arms and walked their little behinds into his office, and they stood in front of Steven's desk and said, "Hi, Uncle Steven. How are you?"
Well,
and
but
they
here's
gave
the
him,
deal.
they
Let
said,
me-
"For you, we love you," and they
let
gave him
me-
the pictures,
let me-
put him on his desk, and that's it.
let me preface my next comment of I am firmly behind the
God.
personnel sucks and it's got to go. But statistically, Ireland is not, in terms of hitting and missing on draft and stuff like that, he's not far behind the league average. But again, he sucks.
No, you're
He
right.
sucks.
What does that
because it's
mean?
across the.
Because
the problem
you
is
can
he
look at-
misses on what we need, and he hits on
Well,
what we don't need.
To me, that's the biggest issue right now. Like, you've had offensive. I looked it up. In 2008, they had one of the best. Bill Parcells comes there first year, one of the best offensive lines. It's been sorry for years before that. It's been sorry since that. And you could start on the offensive line. It's just embarrassing. And these are supposedly offensive line gurus that we've had in here, and we can't get it straight. Right guard's supposed to be one of the easiest positions to fill on a freaking football team, and they can't fill it. It's embarrassing what they've done, and it's funny because I follow almost all the beat writers for the Dolphins on Twitter, and so one of the beat writers, execution. Yeah, but isn't it the GM's job to find someone who can execute properly? Like, at what point does it become the GM's job? Same thing with the coaching. Like, you can blame the execution on the players all you want, but at what point do we point to the coaches and say you didn't teach them to execute well enough?
Well,
Or
I mean, ultimately, we discussed this a few weeks ago, I think it was. In business, in the private sector, in the public sector, you're always striving to find the best people to do the work that you have. You're always looking for quote-unquote talent. That's what you need. You need talent, and you need people that can do the job, which equates to having some depth there. The Dolphins run their organization like if it was I don't even know what it is.
Well,
because a Fortune 500 company recruits the best talent.
Well, and one of the biggest problems they've had is the constant change, starting with the Nick Saban and the Cam Cameron. And this is the problem, because this is what happened with Joe Philbin. Joe Philbin comes in, you have Brandon Marshall, you have Vontae Davis on the team, you have Sean Smith on the team, some guys that have talent. And so, but Joe Philbin, now the head coach, has every right, my opinion, all coaches, not just Joe Philbin, every right to make the team in your image. The problem is, when they got rid of talent, they didn't replace talent. They got rid of Sean Smith, didn't replace him. They got rid of Vontae Davis with the promise of these draft picks, and we haven't seen any fruition of that. Same thing with Brandon Marshall. You got rid of and again, maybe it's better for what Joe Philbin wants to do. Maybe the comment of Brandon Marshall would have ruined Ryan Tannehill. Maybe that's all true, but at the same time, we can put it back on Ireland. But to some extent, I think the coaches have an issue here too. You didn't fill the talent void when you gave it up, That's the problem. Same thing on the offensive line.
Well,
You let Jake Long go, you didn't fill the void. You had nothing. You had no plan. You brought in guys like Eric Winston. You brought in Bryant McKinney, which, by the way, he signed for a lot more in Baltimore than we were willing to sign him for, and now we're paying it anyway, plus the draft pick. It's to me, it's become embarrassing that we can't get ahead of the curve on personnel.
let's reel it. Oh, sorry.
I feel like we should be playing sad music through this.
No, I was
segment.
gonna say let's reel it in a little bit. We were supposed to have Jeff DeForest on the show with us. Trying to get a hold of him. If Defo can't make it with us, maybe he'll make it with us next week, and we can have him on the air then. Because I've been wanting to have Defo for a while, but I've been waiting for a good moment in sports and whatever.
Right.
So we'll have him on next week if he hasn't called me back. But fingers crossed. Phil Diz Dominic gave me a call or text me back saying he can come in at 9, and he says, "What are we talking about?" And I have no idea what we're going to talk to him about. Are we going to talk Jets? Is that what we finally decided on, talking Jets with Diz?
Do you want to talk strictly New York sports? With
I'm
him?
gonna
No, I
puke.
don't want to talk. I don't
I'm
want to
gonna
talk
puke.
New
If we
York
talk
sports,
Jets, I
X's
might
and
puke.
O's. I want to talk about
Can we
the
troll him and talk
relationship-
about Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon?
I want to talk relationship between Jet fans and Dolphin fans and that dynamic.
Okay.
That's really the only thing I really want to talk about because he brags about fighting in the stands, and I want to talk about that. I want to talk about Jets fans, Dolphin fans, and why Jets are worse than Al Qaeda. So Dolphins lose again to the Buffalo Bills in again heartbreaking fashion. They go up against a team that we all felt that they were supposed to win at home. Okay. The Dolphins started off 3-0. Now they lost, including the bye. They lost 3 in a row again, so they're 3-3. They go to Foxborough next Sunday, and then the week after that, on short rest, they have the Cincinnati Bengals. So the schedule doesn't ease up for the Dolphins in the next 2 weeks.
Well, now you getting a better grasp as to why I said it was a must-win game.
It wasn't a must-win game.
Well, it is because
This
now
Sunday's
they lose.
not a
They
must-win
lose
game.
Sunday, and what? They're going to be 9-4, and it's not going to be a 4-9, and it won't be a must-win. At that point, it's not a must-win.
Must-win is when you start losing the opposite game. Like
I-
if you lose in Buffalo, that's like winning in Buffalo is a must-win. So you don't lose a tiebreaker.
I kind of agree with his pick.
So
and I'm
5
not-
in a row isn't.
I don't like
losses?
throwing.
it's not 5-0.
I don't like throwing those must wins out there, but to some extent I agree with him in this sense. The bleeding had started. You're facing a third string quarterback. You should have been
Fourth string.
Stemmers.
From Hialeah.
The guy was a practice
From
squad.
Hialeah.
But again, all the factors were there, and you for 3 quarters for the most part you dominated that team. I mean, you got to think about it was a pick 6. It was a stupid penalty on Don Jones on special teams, or they never would have gotten their second touchdown. Not to mention the very questionable roughing the passer penalty that moved him 15 yards closer. And you know, to some extent, I got to agree with him. It must win in the sense of you're going to Foxborough, and then you're turning around and you're playing a good team in the Bengals on a shortened week. And already when you've had the primetime game, you've kind of crapped yourself. You haven't proven you can play in primetime. And so I think and this is what's sad to me about this whole Dolphins thing. Dude, Tom Brady's as bad as he's ever been. He's never been this bad.
Hey, he's still gonna Gronk us.
No, but even with Gronk last week, he still was average. It wasn't one of these spectacular aerial shows where he's dominating a game. I mean, they lost, and that Jets defense is legit. But at the same time, to think you're going to go to Foxborough and win, can it happen? Yeah, it can happen. But
Yeah, right. It's happened 3 times in the last 36 games.
that's what I'm saying. It's just not. It's not a Wildcat.
They're
The Wildcat-
33 and 3. Forget
The
that.
Wildcat is, and I can't stand. Like, I hate the hooded troll. I think him and Brady sold their souls to the Satan. I really do, because they're having a down year and they found themselves a 5-1, and realistically 5-1, and realistically they call a penalty that hasn't been called all year long in the NFL, or they might be 6-1 today. I mean, legitimately, because Nick Foles misses that field goal. They're right around the 50-yard line. They're going to drive and kick a field goal.
Just got the word from Defo. He's ready to go. So we'll go to break. We'll come back. We'll pick up Dolphins after Defo and Diz. So don't go anywhere. We'll come back with Defo after this.
I'm going to try to record this thing. So today is the day. Whoa, I'm so tired now. I'm so tired, y'all.
I gotta find my professor, man. He doesn't email me back. I feel like I was such an average student that no professor remembers me because I email all these guys to come on and I get no responses
response
at
at
all.
all, huh?
I'm like, hey, professor, I'm Chris Sanchez. I used to be a former student, blah, blah, blah. Nothing.
Send him a picture.
Send him a picture. This guy won't recognize me. I gotta get my.
You better hope it's not that he recognizes you. It
And he
seems awkward.
chooses-
It's like, that guy.
God,
I remember that
His
guy.
ass. He never wore pants. To have him on and talk some jazz, some rock and roll, because this is great stuff, man. I've never even heard of Boo Boo Davis.
Boo Boo Davis, spectacular, man.
Really? This is pretty good.
Yeah,
Do you watch this show, Sons of Anarchy?
No, I don't watch the show. I
Okay.
don't watch the show.
I don't watch it either.
I listen to Boo Boo Davis and I listen to Al Green. Those are kind of that, and obviously the Stevie Ray Vaughan and that group of guys that we
Right.
brought in a couple weeks ago. That's really where I'm just
It's
kind of
soulful.
kicking back and relaxing.
It's soulful.
Yeah, it does it for me.
It's good for your heart.
It is.
We are back to the sports table. So again, Defo, the guy's a busy man. What else can I say?
The disappearing Defo.
Yeah, he was here with us, and then he wasn't here with us, and now I can't get a hold of him again. So we'll just try for Defo next week.
You got it.
I know you guys were disappointed, but he'll be around. Defo will be here. Stemmer might not, but Defo will be.
Thanks, love you too.
We got Dolphins to get to. Let's sort of rein in the rant. Let's just stick to what the Dolphin game actually was. So the Dolphins play the Buffalo Bills. They lose. What was the score? 23-21. And it was a bad loss because the Bills are supposed to be the worst team in the AFC East. Supposed to be the worst team in the AFC East. The Jets are surprising everybody. They're 4-3. They are ahead of the Dolphins in the standings.
As much as I hate to say this because they have a legit D. Their front three is good.
They have a good defense.
They have a legit D.
Better than the Dolphins' defense, which is surprising because we thought the Dolphins' defense was going to be top 5, top 10.
But let's start there because I was sharing some comments earlier. I think there's some things that have happened that I think have compromised the defense. And hopefully, as a fan, you hope it's compromised it because of some schematic changes and a learning curve rather than
Lack of talent.
Because I was like, we'll start with Rashad Jones because I know he likes to go off on Rashad Jones. Rashad Jones last year,
his boy.
Well,
he's done nothing.
Rashad Jones last year, everything was funneled to him. He had no responsibilities because your linebackers would take care of the tight ends, the running backs out of the backfield. These linebackers are not asked to do that. These linebackers are asked to blitz and things like that. And I think they're worse at covering than the previous two linebackers, which brings us again.
Surprising.
I mean, the one strong suit and with both my arms choked behind my back that Carlos Dansby had he was a good cover guy.
And so what has happened now?
Because covering somebody entitled running away from the field towards the back, he was really good at that.
Oh, man.
What happened now is
that statistic, right? That's what we have the statistic.
The Dansby.
It's when it's when a linebacker tackles a running back 7 yards after the line of scrimmage.
I'm so concerned Carlos is
He
going to
did that a
ignite.
lot.
I feel like he's going to be set aflame for saying that.
The Dansby.
The
That's what we
Dansby.
have. We have the Dansbys.
Rashad Jones now has responsibilities, and you're hoping, if you're a Dolphin fan, it's the change in scheme that's kind of slowed him down from what he was last year rather than an inability to do something. My big disappointment right now defensively is the linebackers. Linebackers are brought in, supposed to be faster, supposed to give you an extra dimension. The blitzing hasn't necessarily, to me, you haven't seen those timed blitzes. I mean, I guess at the end of the Colts game, Phillip Wheeler, that was a pretty big one. But other than that, when have you seen it? Phillip Wheeler missed a tackle 3rd and 7 where you could have added time to the clock. They would have still kicked the field goal, but you could have added time to the clock. They picked up a first down, and you lost another minute and a half of game time.
They paid a lot of money to get these linebackers.
Yep.
A lot of money to pay these linebackers. These were one of the more expensive acquisitions in the offseason. The thing for me, the front seven was the strongest part of this Dolphins of the entire team. The front seven. You drafted depth. That's what you did. You drafted depth.
Correct.
Where is the depth?
Where's the
but I think
where's the pressure?
But they
He's playing special teams.
They didn't draft.
He's
but
a special team
I don't
star.
think they drafted that. I don't think they necessarily drafted linebacker depth.
No, I didn't say linebacker depth.
Front
seven depth.
Talking about Deion Jordan.
I'm talking about Deion Jordan. When they drafted when you
Dude,
trade up to draft Deion Jordan,
this is where you can rag on him all you want, but I think he's gonna be all that in a bag of chips.
where is he?
Where the hell is he?
But
Put him on the goddamn field.
But maybe he can't handle that load now. We don't know what his shoulders like, and he's gonna put on with it. Look again. Remember, he could not lift weights. And I agree
Let's
with you.
stick to one topic, Poppy. Look. Tell me, what is it? Is it Deion Jordan that he can't crack the field?
But we don't. I don't think it's that he can't. I don't think he's capable of taking the load. You saw him make a stop because here's the deal. You see things. You saw in the I think it was a Colts game. He stopped the running back. He set the edge, as they say. So we know he can do that. You saw in the Ravens game, he hit Joe Flacco. We get the pick 6. So the secondary question, again, if you're going to give credit to, and by the way, they say that Casey Rogers, the defensive line coach, is the best coach on the team because look at their defensive line. I don't know.
The defensive line has done nothing. 50% of the sacks last week came from blitzing linebackers.
The defensive line.
Well, no, come on. Jared Odrick had a game.
That's his best game he's played as a Dolphin.
And Randy Starks balled last week.
Randy Starks had a
But
good
the
game.
defensive line is not doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Cameron Wake is still hurt. Cameron Wake is still hurt. I get that.
disagreed. The defensive line's job is not the sacks. That's where you bring in your blitzing linebackers. I think this defensive line's job is to stop the running game, and for the most part, they have. What concerns me, again, another concern that I'm having, is for 2 times in a row in the South Florida Heat, it wasn't the other team that wilted at the end of the game. It was us.
Well, the defense, to be fair, is on the field longer than
they're on the
offense.
field longer. Yes. So all those factors have to take in. Going back to Deion Jordan, we don't know why he's not there. Is basically what we do know. He had a hurt shoulder. He couldn't lift weights. Couldn't put the weight on that. Maybe they don't feel he can take the abuse of the number of snaps. I don't know. We've never heard an answer for
why
that.
would you draft him as a 3rd pick? Why would you move up and give away
because
picks
they got a freak.
to pick somebody?
They got a freak. Look,
a freak for one. Next year, 2 years from now, 3 years
no.
from now, when he gains 40 pounds.
But you do realize Aldon Smith, Justin Tuck, the guys that he's modeled after, all of their first years were mediocre at best. So yes, I'm willing to swallow. It's hard to swallow that. I'm willing to swallow that pill now.
I'm not willing to swallow that pill when my quarterback is getting dismantled. I'm not willing to swallow that pill when my running backs can't find a goddamn hole.
But here's the deal. You realize all the offensive linemen that you would have taken there suck. They're not doing you would have been as pissed off, if not more, because you wasted another. And I remember having this conversation with you about Mike Pouncey. You wasted another high draft pick on an offensive lineman who can't do his job. That's what you would have been saying at this moment in time. Because you look at Jokel. Jokel's now out, by the way. But even before he was out, he was mediocre. You look at Fluker, same thing. And so the guys that you would have wanted them to take, if you're talking offensive linemen, would have been as mediocre. You would have been asking the same questions. I think looking at what Gian in his limit, because it's limited time, I think he's going to be all that in a bag of chips. I think a lot of GMs would have done what the Dolphins did if they wanted that. Now, going back to the front 7, part of my issue with Jeff Ireland is you've pissed off the 2 big boys. If you don't bring back, my opinion is a strength of the team, Randy Stark, Paul Solia, if you've pissed them off because you're playing hard balls with their contracts.
I don't think either one of them come back.
No, they're gonna make a substantial offer to one. What they've done is they've basically, my opinion, they've played them against each other. Whoever performs the best, that's who we're going to offer. The other one they're going to let walk, which I think is a mistake. And what's allowed them to do that is Jarek Odrick, the way he's playing.
That's in a long time from now. Right now, looking at the defense at the front of the defense right now, it's not creating as much of a pass rush as we thought.
Nope.
I know you said the defensive line is not for pass rush, but last year Cameron Wake had 15 sacks. You draft Deion Jordan, no matter what it is, he's a freak, right? To rush the passer, not to get tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're not getting the pressure.
He
that
played
we all
11 defensive snaps last week.
Cameron Wake, he's still hurt.
No, not Cameron Wake. Deion Jordan too.
11 out of 68.
He's not hurt anymore. Deion Jordan is not hurt anymore.
But again, I think
the whole thing is not on Deion Jordan. I get it.
We're speculating, but because when he's been in there, you've seen him make plays.
I'm not saying anything bad about Deion Jordan. I'm saying the front 7, the strength of this defense is not playing as strong.
And I think it lies.
As we were.
It lies in our linebackers. I think the way they designed the defense this year is different than last year, and it lies. And Cameron Wake losing. Don't kid yourself. You lost 15 sacks for 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, and not only that, see, there's a lot of factors here, and it's tough to really, with the defense, it's tough to figure it out. You faced Drew Brees, you faced Joe Flacco, you faced Andrew Luck, you faced some very good quarterbacks that take away, can negate some of what you're good at with your blitzing, with your again, not saying that that's the total answer, but that has to be factored in.
So the front seven is...
How many times did they sack Thaddeus Lewis? They did. I mean,
4. Two on blitzes.
But
a safety blitz actually got one.
But again, 4's a good number. The problem is twice, if I remember right, twice you hit the guy on 3rd and long, and he's completing a pass downfield. So who is that on? Is the pass rusher step too late? See, I'm one of the things that everybody keeps saying is a strength for us, and I don't agree with, is the secondary. I don't think our cornerbacks.
Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to that said the strength is the secondary?
Phil Simms and Jim Nant.
Come on, man. Listen to you. Listen to.
Come on,
please.
Man. Listen.
And you know anything? They have no cover corners. Nobody can cover on that team.
Grimes,
and he hasn't obviously done anything because they're not throwing his side.
Yeah.
How dare you
and
speak
look,
against
Dimitri Patterson, he did well in the Browns game. Then he got injured.
He's a cast off. Again, let me tell you something. I am so tired of picking up other people's scrap heap and making them my starters. Why am I picking up an offensive lineman who was going to get cut by Baltimore? Now he's ours. We picked up Clable, who was cut, and he's ours. He's good enough to start for us. My backups are not good enough to step in and start. But somebody else's cast-offs are good enough to come over here and start. That sits on the shoulders of my general manager.
God, that sounds like my fantasy team.
Listen, okay, so the defense is an issue, but it's not the biggest part of the flaw of this Miami Dolphins.
They're not what they should be. I agree with that.
Okay. The weakness, the glaring weakness, the moves we saw this week is the offensive line. Now, the offensive line, it seems to me that Jonathan Martin is always starting off every snap, even in a rush play, backwards. He's
starting backwards.
His first step is always backwards.
All right. You want to do the math on this? He's starting 3 yards back. I'm seeing Clabo at least 5 to 6 yards back. I'm telling you, I never seen a defensive end take a right angle. Mario Williams just ran and was like, Coño, I'm alone. Right angle? Hey, this quarterback. And he ate him. Right, and then the teabag picture you put up on our Facebook.
Their offensive line sucks. I don't know enough about a wide zone blocking scheme to talk about what he does fundamentally. They just suck. Like they haven't picked up stunts. In general, they suck. And
they're on pace to break the most records in a franchise.
No, actually, they came down off that after this. Remember, for 3 quarters, they didn't allow a sack on Sunday.
For a franchise, for this Miami Dolphins franchise, they're on pace
for this franchise.
Yeah, let me say, man, for this franchise, they're on pace to break the record in Week 12. Week 12. This offensive line is on pace to break the Miami Dolphins franchise record.
I'll give you an even sadder stat. Do you remember Pat McQuiston when we had him?
No.
No. Yeah, what was it, McQuiston? What was the guy that we had over there that we hated that Sperano was loyal to? Colombo gave up 9.
Far-fetched from McQuiston, bro.
We had one of the McQuiston brothers. Anyway,
I mean, if it was Eric Winston and McQuiston, I can follow. But Colombo?
But we had Colombo. We hated that guy.
Yeah, we
still
do.
He's terrible.
But you know what he said? He gave up 9 sacks. How many does Clabo have right now?
I don't know how many.
Close to that. Yeah.
Is 8.
He's right there.
Yeah.
Think about that. Think about that in terms of what I'm talking. It's obscene.
That's why they make the trade. Okay, they make the trade and they draft Bryant McKenny. Or
Woo,
they don't draft.
bring
they
the party
trade
bus
for Bryant McKenny.
Party bus on the way down to Miami.
Now let's look at
King of
this.
Diamonds.
Let's look at this draft. Let's look at this trade.
That's what's
okay.
marketing.
The Baltimore Ravens see flaws in their offensive line. They trade for Eugene Wilson, the left tackle. Eugene Monroe, sorry, from Jacksonville. Okay, who do they bench? They bench Brian McKenny.
Right before they cut him, because that was the next move.
Right. And then the Dolphins traded for him.
The party bus needs to get some
If we'd have waited another week, we'd have got him for nothing.
Brian McKenny now is the oldest player on this offensive line in this team in this city. That guy is like 80 years old, 400 pounds, and he's going to play left tackle for your Miami Dolphins. Jonathan Martin is not a good right tackle.
He's not a good anything.
Jonathan Martin is not a good. Okay, It's an upgrade from Tyson Clabo.
Yeah, you're getting 2 yards
you
back
hope. You hope it
Only
is.
because
I
he's
would say
bigger.
you can't get worse. You
Only
cannot
because
get
he's
worse.
bigger,
But
so it would
yeah,
take this guy a
that's
hundredth of
my
a second
point.
longer to get around
See,
him.
I think one of the other points here is he's big and fat. He's not the athletic lineman they need for the zone blocking.
Right.
And so, how stubborn is this coaching staff going to continue to be?
And this is how I see it. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Jeff
wrong.
Ireland doesn't make the move in the bye week. Jeffrey Ross is going, why aren't you making a move in the bye week? We have enough. They lose the game because of Clabo. So now Jeffrey Ross goes, you have to make moves. And Jeff Ireland makes this move without not only out of desperation, behind the back of Joe Philbin.
You think that's what I was going to ask you that question. How do you think this whole scenario goes down?
Well,
do you think Joe Philbin has input? Do you think he doesn't?
No, he has no input because they got rid of Brandon Marshall because it's not a Philbin guy. They didn't bring back Chad Johnson in the offseason after he had his run-in with the law because it's not a Philbin guy. Reggie Bush is gone.
You think basically Ireland gave Joe Philbin the middle finger? I'm getting fat guy.
This is the guy that we have to bring in, and Joe Philbin is like, we don't need this guy. He's not gonna fit with us, and it doesn't matter.
Look,
he's gonna make the move because
true,
Jeff Ireland knows he's going to get fired at the end of the season if they do not.
If that's true, Jeff Ireland has to go now. If you have
you can only coach the players you're given.
Yes,
because he does not make personnel decisions.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, again, nobody may like it. You may not want it. You may want to sugarcoat it. You want to get off the train. Whatever the case may be. Anything that happens with this football team, as far as players go, lies on the shoulders of Jeff Ireland.
Everything.
Yeah,
Everything.
Okay,
from A to Z.
I don't disagree with you. We already had this conversation. But here's in the big picture, and I guess maybe I'm speaking now from a coach's perspective. I agree 100%. You can look talent out there, but at what point? And I'll give you an example. At what point do you look at your offensive line coach and think maybe he's not doing a good job? Maybe Tyson Clabo would have been better if he had this. And again, I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying a big what if. We have experience with and I'm on the Fireland fence. I'm ready. Get him out of here. For the plain and simple fact of the same issues: offensive line, defensive backs. Linebackers I can't cover, tight end. These are continual problems that we have that he's never fixed. But my other worry right now with the Dolphins is because you have that issue, you also don't know if you have the coaching staff in place you want. I like Philbin. I like where he came from. I'm not a big Mike Sherman fan for a variety of reasons. So I'm worried. Like the tight ends coach, it looks like he's done a good job. They had this guy line up at fullback the other day. He blocked well. The bust from last year, the third-round pick, Agnew.
Inactive Agnew.
Yeah.
Resurrected.
But he played fullback. He blocked well. So to me, you have a mixture of
He's
problems
a fucking
here.
tight end. For the love of God, why do we draft a tight end if we're going to play him a fullback?
but listen-
Draft a fullback.
But wait. You know Gronkowski lines up a fullback. You know that Aaron Hernandez did.
No. But that's because that's a specialty play, not because that's the only role he can fit.
No, but that's my point.
We're fitting a round peg in a square hole.
That's
the
what
only
they
role he
want. But
fits.
that's what they want to move to. That's what they're trying to model after. And so, my biggest issue right now is there's a lot of them. Is that they don't have the players to do what they want. And so, yes, it's on Ireland, but at the same time, where's this coaching staff?
Let me ask you this. Let's follow the train down the tracks, okay? Let's say common sense takes over Stephen Ross and the Dolphins are below 500 again. They don't make the playoffs, and even though he gave the extension, he fires Jeff Ireland. As a general manager, what's the first thing you go get?
Most general managers want their own coach.
They get their own coach. Yeah. So that means Philbin might be out. A new general manager and a new head coach, what's the first
for an
thing?
Organization.
No, not only that, though. What's the first thing that they
I know
go
where
out?
you're going, quarterback.
They go get the quarterback. So theoretically, the Miami Dolphins might be, if they fire Jeff Ireland after the season, which it makes sense that they would, they might be restarting again.
And that's a big issue. I've said it. The continuity, I think, has been an issue with this organization. I don't have an answer for you, though. I don't. Here's the other issue. How do you know Jeff Ross is going to find someone better than Ireland?
You don't know, but it's
You
someone
don't,
different.
But you're not going to, unless you hire Matt Millen or Rick Spielman, you're fine.
It's true.
That's
Well,
the only
why
place you can go.
Why can't Jeff Ireland Jedi mind trick Rick Spielman like the rest of the league and get Adrian Peterson for like a bag of chips or something?
That's the only. And you
Like-
know what? And Spielman had a resurrection when he went over there because he had 7 straight good picks.
Don't worry, he's solving that issue now.
Yeah, I
Yes,
know.
he's already come
It's
back
always
down to
back
earth.
to
He's
the
already
mean.
back to.
Coming
I mean,
back
you know,
down to
everybody
It's-
has their epiphany.
To me, it's just I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated as a Dolphin fan because we don't like a lot of the questions we want answered can't be answered.
I am scarred as a Dolphin fan. I told you guys in the offseason, I'm buying in a little bit. Remember? Alan kept making fun of me. Yeah, he kept making fun of me. I'm like,
Sucker!
I have more hope in this offseason than I've had in the last 6-7 years. And now
God, what a
I
sap.
don't. I used to be indifferent. Now I'm frustrated, leaning towards indifference because the Dolphins are doing to me what they do every year. They're doing to me what they do every year. Let's talk about.
But here, let me offer you some perspective also because I try to look at it from all sides.
Okay.
I was talking this with your uncle. They went 3-0. And they went 3-0. I don't care what you say, pretenders, whatever. They beat the Colts at the Colts, and
Yep.
which Peyton Manning could not pull off. And they beat the Browns at the Browns, which the Browns have turned out to be a pretty good team. And then who's the third victory?
Atlanta.
Here, they beat Atlanta here last second, whatever. And Atlanta's a mess. So I don't really know what to make of that one. Then you get crushed by the Saints, which the Monday night craziness. You know, if he doesn't throw the pick before the end of the half, who knows what happens. And the Ravens game, again, you know, you gave it away. And so the Buffalo game is really what has us in this tailspin. If they beat Buffalo, we're off the ledge. We're okay. We're back, you know, so on and so forth. Here's the deal. Record-wise, if you had said, I'll take 3-2 after the first 5, you would have been excited at the beginning of the season. And so, and again, I agree with his perspective. Our problem is we're passionate fans. We see what they play like. We're pissed. But I still think there's reason to hope. My issues lie more with there's too many unanswered questions, and I'm afraid we're going to get to the end of 2013 and still have the questions we shouldn't have. Is Ryan Tannehill good? Are we going to have Jeff Ireland again next year because he still sucks? Is Joe Philbin the coach that we thought he was? Is his staff the coach? Because he's never getting rid of Mike Sherman. And that scares me to death.
Mm-hmm.
As good as Philbin might be at offense, because this is my problem with Sherman, and to some extent Philbin, they're stubborn. You just got Mount McKinney. The guy's almost 400 pounds. He's not the athletic zone blocking. Like, that's what they need. And so what are you going to do? How are you going to handle this? For the Buffalo game, they gave me hope. 3 quarters, 2 tight end sets, max protect, so on and so forth. They get to the critical part of the game. What do? They wet themselves. They let Clabo go one-on-one with Mario Williams. He crushes Tannehill twice in a row. We lose the game.
Fumble. Just like I've seen for the last 10 years. Again, they still haven't reached my mark of 26. Have you guys noticed that?
They have not.
They have not reached the mark of 26 points yet.
You realize in their next 10 games, there's only one game where you can say, or I'm going to say on Sunday, I think they can win this game. They should win this game.
Is it the Bucs game?
It's the Tampa game. It's the only game that I'm confident that they're going to win.
No, and you went from
I'm not confident with the Patriots, the Bengals, the Chargers, the Panthers, the Jets, the Steelers, the Patriots, or the Bills in December.
think about it.
you
Think
look
about
at
it.
that
The change.
schedule.
So
think
what
about-
you're saying is our 4-12 prediction is pretty safe?
I'm very
First of all, we could laugh at the 11 wins of Theo George. We could laugh
Oh
at
my
that.
we can laugh
God.
at that for years.
This guy's saying 11
I hate to
wins.
say this, but the 8-8 give or take a game crowd looks like they might be accurate.
Which was me. Hey. But
Which I think if they go 8-8, they go 7-9, they go 9-7. I'm sorry, I think that's a failure. And
Oh, failure.
A colossal failure.
they spent.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's overachieving.
They spent 168.
Colossal's a bad way to go. You were 7-9 last year, and
the year before.
But my point is this: so if you improve 2 games, I'm not sure it's a colossal failure. Now we think it's a failure because you started 3-0. You're looking at, man, we beat some pretty good teams. Again,
No, because
I'm all for whatever gets Jeff Ireland out of here. But the thing that scares me about that is what you brought up. So they fired Jeff Ireland. You get your new coach. Let's say they don't go the route of a new quarterback. Let's say the GM and the coach that comes in is willing to work with Ryan Tannehill. You're still possibly looking at a new system. Now you got to go find the freaking players to fit the system. Where are we at?
well, that's going to happen anyway.
We're at the AAA
Regardless,
watching the Heat.
We don't have players for this system, so we still got to go out and buy players with
But
this
you
system.
started to build that. You have it. See, this is where I look at the coaching staff with it. They brought in those 3 receivers with the idea that they could play all 3 positions. but you don't move Mike. You never move Mike Willis outside of the outside receiver position. Don't understand that. And so you've put the pieces in place. It looks like Egnew, they're training to be that guy. The Aaron Hernandez lineup in the backfield, split out. Now, whether he's ever going to be able to fully develop in that, God only knows.
We bought Ferraris and we bought Porsches and we bought no batteries. We can't start the car.
That's pretty good.
We can't move the freaking car, man.
I thought he was going to say we bought Ferraris to do rally racing.
Well, I'm still not convinced Wallace is a Ferrari.
Well, I mean, a Ferrari in this market. He's absolutely not a top 20 receiver. He's not.
The funny thing is, one of the acquisitions you kind of raised your eyebrow out, Gibson, because I was like, Gibson, what do we need Gibson for? He looks like a great acquisition. But he gets yards after the catch in the slot. Best never did that. And everybody raised their eyebrow at the money that they threw at Heartline. He's the blankie. He's the blankie for Ryan Tannehill.
Before we go to break, can we talk about Ryan Tannehill?
Yes,
Is that cool with you
let's
guys?
do that.
Alan, I want to get your perspective on this especially. Ryan Tannehill probably played his worst first half, maybe overall game as a Miami Dolphin last week.
As would most people when they start forgetting their names or being hit so much.
I was going to say this. The prospects of Ryan Tannehill getting sacked so many times. Did you see the play when he takes the ball? Now, this guy has absolutely zero pocket presence. Ryan Tannehill cannot move in the pocket, does not feel pressure at all.
As would most people that haven't played the position for very long,
right.
Yes.
So when he snaps the ball, he's starting off looking at his left because Mario Williams made one move, and in, I want to say three-tenths of a second, he's on Tannehill, and Tannehill just throws the ball right at his feet, and he sort of walks 5 yards after, to walk off the fact that he almost avoided a massacre. Yeah.
Well, he was letting his heart calm down.
Yeah, exactly.
He just saw his life die in front of him.
He's not going to – I don't feel Tannehill has DNA of Chad Henne where he's just going to be timid in throwing the ball. Do you think Tannehill's going to overcompensate in the fact that he's only going to look at the pressure and the risky throws? Because he was already a risk taker last season, and he didn't have this bad of an offensive line. Is he going to start throwing picks? Is he going to be turnover prone and just avoid the pressure as opposed to progressing?
Dude, I don't know, because I don't know what it's like to be hit like that, man. I don't know if you start throwing nothing but slants. I don't know if you start becoming check down Chad.
They jump the routes.
No, I know. But I would go into I'm going to protect myself, and if that means getting the ball out faster, I would have to. I'm not looking to die this year.
I think I texted you this. I think the Buffalo game was the first game where you saw this out of Ryan Tannehill, where the footsteps were starting to bug him.
Well, yeah, he can't remember his wife's name now.
Yeah, but
which is a shame.
I know. That poor guy.
To me, what's been remarkable about him is he, for a guy that didn't play quarterback but 1 year in college, the 16 games last year with limited weapons, and then this year he's done okay. He learned to read the field better this year. He started using the middle of the field more, which is one of the knocks on him. Some of the things I still can't comprehend, like him and Brian Hartline go out and work hours before a game on routes and stuff like Peyton Manning used to do with his guys in Indianapolis. Mike Wallace doesn't participate in that. Where does that lie on?
It's too cool.
But if that's on Wallace, I'm sorry. Then the coaching staff, Ryan Tannehill, someone needs to say something about it. But ultimately, I think Buffalo's it scares me because I think we saw it for the first time in the Buffalo game. I really do.
Buffalo started their 4th-string quarterback. All their running backs were hurt.
From Hialeah.
They converted how many 3rd and longs? I felt
Four.
like every time.
4 or 5 that were more than 10.
Jeff Harlan has an extension. He makes this move of desperation.
Absolutely.
No doubt. Of desperation.
The only reason I like the move is because I think it shows you Ireland knows. He doesn't feel the security we think he feels, I think.
You know what it was? He saw the writing on the wall. That's what he did. He saw the writing on the wall.
You can't tell me Stephen Ross isn't saying, listen, bro, I paid $100 and some odd million.
Yeah, what's going on?
For the upgrades, and what am I getting? I'm getting crap. Like you said, I paid for Ferraris. I'm getting a Volkswagen. Hey, come on.
What's wrong with the Volkswagen, man?
What do you say about this move? Putting Ryan Tannehill at his natural position and starting Matt Moore. Slot receiver. We're going to go to break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to a Jet fan. Just in case we're not even mad enough, we're going to talk to this guy. And we're going to play that game. Remember that game that last time he didn't really participate that much because all he was doing was ragging on LeBron. The over here, over there game. He says a lot of over here, over there. He says a lot of that. So we're going to count and keep track how many of those he drops in this interview. So hopefully we'll have Diz, Defo kind of shook. I'm Ryan Tannehill right now. I'm a little bit shook. So hopefully we'll have Diz.
Are you forgetting your girlfriend's name?
At the end of this break. We are so tired, huh?
Woo! Man, are we tired. Tired of these Dolphins.
So tired of fried chicken right now.
We are so tired, man. Welcome back to the Sports Table, everybody. We're tired. We just finished talking Dolphins. Last segment, we had Mike Lubitz on earlier in the show. We tried to get Defo, but then he flaked a little bit. So we got the next best guy off the air. One of my personal favorites. I worked with him earlier today. We got Phil, the Diz Dominic. He's on the Diz and Troy Stratford show on 940 from 3 to 5. Diz, you there?
I'm here, but wait a second. You got the second best, like the next best? What the hell is that all about?
Well, that's...
Oh, okay. You're the second best board op I deal with. I can't.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you finish that sentence? I don't know about that.
No, I can't even say. What's going on, guys? How you doing?
The reason why I say that's part of the reason why we wanted you on to talk about some stuff today. The Jets, they won. They're 4-3. The Dolphins, they lost. They're 3-3. Again. And the only thing I really want to talk about, I don't want to talk X's and O's. I want to talk about the fandom of both franchises. You are a hardcore Jets fan, probably to a fault. I'm a Dolphins fan. I've been heartbroken so many times that I've been numb to the 7-9. The Jets sort of have a little bit of fire. They have a rookie quarterback, not named Sanchez, that's, actually doing something. So for you right now as a Jets fan, is this the most hopeful you felt in the last few years?
Well, I mean, I appreciate you saying I'm a diehard fan and then recognizing that there's no such thing as a diehard Dolphins fan.
I'll just personally for me. But yeah,
well,
there's not.
There's really no such thing. I mean, as far as being a Jets fan, listen, we're perennially... We're right there. We're so close and yet so far away. Geno Smith, look, he's better than Mark Sanchez. That's what I know about Geno Smith.
I'm better than Mark Sanchez.
So far, but that's not saying much is the problem.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
And the problem is that, we've got to see exactly what Geno Smith does if he grows next year. And, what I've seen from game 1 to now game 7, I've seen growth. Okay, have I seen enough growth? Well, I think we're holding these rookies at a different pace because of the Andrew Lucks, the RG3s, all these guys, Russell Wilsons, these guys who came around last year who kind of set the bar a little bit too high for what rookies should be and where they should be. And we still see Russell Wilson still putting up the numbers and still doing the stuff that we see. So I'm not going to sit here and say, well, that's it, Geno Smith is going to the Hall of Fame or anything like that. All I can say is he looks better than Mark Sanchez did, especially in the last 3.5 years. And Mark had some nice games, but he had more flake games. I've seen 4 games now where Geno Smith won the game for us. When it comes down to it, and for whatever reason we get in that position, that he won the game for us. He won on a game-winning drive 4 different times.
Right.
Aided twice by penalties. If you want to say that, that's fine. I have no problem with it. Penalties are part of the game. It happens to every team. Sometimes you're on the right side of it. Sometimes you're on the wrong side of it. You remember being on the wrong side of it probably more than you remember being on the right side of it. For Dolphins fans, I think that Ryan Tannehill, his worst problem right now is that you surrounded him with a very religious offensive line. And by that I mean they're very holy.
That and they're on their knees all the time.
I mean, you know what? You got a bunch of matadors over there just saying "Ole" every time a bull rush comes up here. And I was surprised at the way they played the first 3 quarters of the game, against the Bills, because the Bills, obviously, Mario Williams has 11 or so sacks on the year, and they really held him at bay for 3.5 quarters. But when the game was on the line, they folded.
So the answer is yes, then. You feel hopeful, to answer my question, you feel hopeful more now than in the last few years?
Well, I feel hopeful for the fact that, you know what, is that our defense is full of a bunch of young second, third-year guys. Our offense is young. Our offensive line is playing better than I expected them to. Our running situation is better than I expected it to be. And Geno Smith, although he still shows that he's a rookie quarterback, he's very much far ahead of the curve than maybe I thought he'd be, and I think a lot of people thought he'd be.
Well,
a lot
I
of people
guess
thought E.J. Manuel was going to be the number one quarterback here taken in this draft, including the Bills. That hasn't shown to be the case so far.
Well,
So
that doesn't that mean to you that the only reason that you're really hopeful is because since this is a quarterback-driven league that you might have a quarterback?
No, because I think that ultimately the two areas, the running game and the defense, especially the defensive front seven, have played better than I expected them to. And I think with those two, although you want to say it's a quarterback-driven league, and I'm a purist who wants to believe that defense still does win you those championships. So you need to have that positive, that really strong defense, which I was a little bit worried about when we made that trade. But, hey, if you look at the guy we got, Sheldon Richardson, I mean, I would argue that he's the defensive at least rookie of the year.
Hey, Phil, are you driving through a tunnel or something? You're breaking up a little bit there.
No, I had my phone on my shoulder, and my wife's putting ice in a glass so I can have some wine. So.
You drink wine with ice?
Well, white wine, you do, yeah.
Do you do that? I'm not an adult.
Especially when you just went to Publix and got white wine over here.
Out of a box?
No, not in a box. What am I?
What kind of a redneck do you think he is, man? Come on.
What am I? What am I named Tyrone over here? What is that? No, it's her birthday tomorrow, so she wants to stay up until midnight, and I'm trying to help her stay up. That's all.
By giving her alcohol.
Well, the ice. That's what the ice is for.
the purpose.
That's what the ice is for. Listen,
Chris,
Phil,
she needs as much alcohol as possible to deal with me. Okay?
To talk about just the Jets-Dolphins rivalry, you've said on air before how you've gotten into confrontations, with Dolphin fans.
No, fights. You can call them fights.
Okay.
Confrontations make it sound civil.
Well, tell us about one of them.
Talk about it,
Yeah,
dude.
tell us.
Because I've always wanted to. I've seen it happen before me. I've never, gone fisticuff with a Jets fan before.
Well, I'll tell you right now. Here's the thing: is that I'm 34 years old. Okay, and at 34 years old, the difference between me at 34 years old and 21 years old, it might as well be 50 years instead of 13 years, because at 21, 22, 23 years old, I was constantly in fights. I honestly didn't think you guys played a fourth quarter down here because I always get ejected sometime around the third quarter, especially when they would stop selling the alcohol and stuff. But
oh my gosh,
what ended up happening is that ultimately, I came to the realization one day I was sitting there and normally
in jail.
What's that?
You were sitting there in jail?
No, what would happen is normally is they would come down, security would come down, and the Dade County sheriffs would come down. They'd separate us, and then immediately we were asked flat out, do you guys want to continue this fight, or do you want to leave? And they would always be asking us that question because we would be the ones to be ejected, the Jet fans, I mean. And the Dolphin fans would be allowed to stay. And
as it should be.
Right. A lot of it had to do with them for our own protection because they understood that they had another, 50,000 Dolphin fans that would want to kick our ass too. And so we got ejected a lot more. I thankfully never got, arrested for it, not down here at least. That was a situation I had in Fenway. But, that's a different story altogether. And
but how do
you go to Fenway and get arrested?
Well, you go there wearing Yankee pinstripes, and just the last thing you want to do when you go in front of a judge in Fenway, which they have actually a little holding cell and a judge that writes up a ticket, don't make fun of his accent.
God, it is, man. Jeez.
So, but what happened was one day I was sitting here and I said, you know what, I'm going to go to jail, or even worse, because there's a lot of knuckleheads out there. So I'm going to go to jail or worse at some point. So finally one day this guy turns around and he's behind me and he's just pushing my buttons the whole game. And he pushes me from behind. And I turn around and looked at him and I said, listen, buddy, I don't know Woody Johnson. You don't know at the time it was Wayne Heinzinger. And he goes, no. I go, good. That means neither one of them is going to bail us out of jail when we go to jail for me kicking your fucking ass. Excuse me. I'm allowed to curse. It's internet, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
so,
that's fine.
And the guy looked at me and his face got white for a second, and then his buddy next to him grabbed him and said, yeah, stop being an idiot. I told you to stop over there. And the guy apologized, and I laughed about it. And that's really what it came down to. Is after that I said, I'm done getting into fights here. I'm too old, I'm too tired, and I'm done. I paid good money. I want to see the end of this game, especially since the Jets usually win down here.
Oh, listen. So how does it start then? How does it start? When you did used to fight, was it something that someone else said? Did you spill a beer on somebody? How does that happen?
Well, first of all, beer is like liquid gold. How much money they cost you for a beer?
So if they spilled your beer, it was a fight.
I'm not spilling a beer on anybody. At that point, you put the beer down, very calm, very carefully, and then you go to fight. No, normally it was because what happens is alcohol is involved though, and you get into an argument because you're full of piss and win, he's full of piss and win, and usually if my team was losing, I'd be a little bit more quiet. And if my team was winning, I'd be a little louder. Well, if I'm louder and Dolphin fans don't want to hear me be loud, and although there are a lot of us that go to the game, we're still outnumbered. I still say it's probably 60-40 Dolphin fans, so, we are still outnumbered. So you get that situation where all it takes is one idiot that sits there and doesn't like what you're yelling, doesn't like what you're screaming, doesn't like the fact that your team's winning, wants to be a sore loser, and wants to say something. And I wouldn't back down. At that time, I wouldn't back down from somebody saying something stupid. I'd answer back and say something even more stupid. So it'd be like, well, your team still sucks. Well, my team sucks. My team's beating your. And then you get into, at some point, my ball's got to come out and be put on the table. His got to come out and be put on the table. And we got to see who's is bigger. And that's the stupidity of being a man, unfortunately. I think it's all, really, it's animalistic, dog, alpha male versus alpha male type crap. And to be honest, that's what would happen. Nowadays, it's like, your team sucks. Yes, thank you very much. And that's it. You let it go and stuff. And it's like, my team sucks and your mother swallows. So congratulations, we got something in common. And you move forward from there. Especially now I've got two daughters, and they don't want to see daddy getting arrested. I mean, let's be real. That's a little tacky,
Yeah.
I feel like you prefer the hostile environment, though, that you prefer coming to the games down here than going to New York and watching a game there.
Well, no, I do. And to be honest, I mean, it's bred from the fact that I grew up in a house full of Giant fans. I grew up in a city full of Giant fans. So, and as a middle child, I automatically have that middle child syndrome where I think everybody's out to get me anyway. So, to me, it's kind of like a comfortable spot for me to be in where, to be disliked, have disdain. I mean, Chris, in that building alone, how many people hate my guts, including the program director who basically tries to do everything she can to keep me off the freaking air,
right.
including sitting there and canceling my ID, so she's trying to keep me out of the building over there.
Oh, my God, man.
All because I'm a Jets fan. Go figure, right?
I had no idea that had happened to you, man.
Yeah. The Dolphins have called on a regular basis to bitch and moan about how I shouldn't be on the air because, it's the flagship station, whatever. Okay, and they've complained about the wackiest crap in the world. They complained about me, my tagline at the end, the best damn show about the worst damn team when it comes to the Finsiders. They complained when I called Ryan Tannehill's wife a horse face. They complained because I said Ireland's going to be fired in 6 months, so there's no reason for me to kiss his ass. They turn around.
I'd have to concur with you on that one.
Yeah, but that's what it is. That's what they bitch and moan about over here, And to me, it's like, listen, you want to bitch and moan, win a Super Bowl, and then you won't have to worry about what I'm saying on the air.
Super Bowl, win a freaking division title, man. Come on, I don't want to go that far. I'd be happy if we just won a division.
No, wait.
And this month, win a game.
Have a winning season.
You know what? Yeah, I was gonna say, be over 500 over here.
If you're over 500, I'd be happy. I'd have we win a game sometime this month.
You said your fighting days are over in the stands, but I feel like, there was a few months ago when Amigo was still on the show that you were having brawls with your old boy Sid there. So I feel like,
No. My physical altercations, unless somebody attacks me or my family personally, my physical altercations are basically done here. But I have no problem standing still up and still answering to somebody when they want to call me out. I have no problem with that whatsoever. And as you see, since then, Amigo's the one who went on Sid Rosenberg's show, not me. Amigo's the one who had the mea culpa and the apologies and all that stuff, not me. To me, as far as I'm concerned, Sid Rosenberg can burn in hell. I mean, I really could care less about him. He's the type of guy that I'd sooner kill his dog, and I like dogs.
God, Diz. Come on, man. It's when I get the fact when because I actually recorded the audio. No one knows that really. I recorded the audio that Kim Bokamper was talking crap about Phil. He had said something. He said something, and it was supposed to be for this show, for our show, but Diz bailed on us. So it was up in the computer, and I guess you had seen it, and you played it on the air, and it sparked that whole feud with the Dolphins and with the Finsiders and you guys. So
that was one of the things. Yeah, see, that Kim Bokamper, he's just a big fat blowhard whose biggest claim to fame is dropping an interception there in a Super Bowl.
Yep.
I mean, really, and if you want to live off of that, that's fine. Make a living off of that. Look. Hey, Bill Buckner still signs Mookie Wilson baseball cards, so it's okay. I get it, but you're sitting there and the guy wants to make a stupid comment because, and his stupid comment, it was he can't respect me because he's never seen me in a locker room. Meanwhile, if he knew anything about life, he'd know that the Dolphins have banned me from the locker room. Literally, it's not me being funny or cute. they have banned me. I have put my request in for credentials on many occasions, and they have absolutely said no. No, you're not allowed. They've specifically said I'm not allowed. As a Jet fan, that gets me rock hard. Are you kidding me? I'm serious. I mean, it really does. So, to me, Fireman Ed is a fucking pussy because I'm the true Jet fan because the Dolphins actually know me by name and hate me. You know, it's fun.
Listen, there's a lot of fan bases I do not like. I do not like Knicks fan bases. I do not like Laker fan bases, especially Chicago Bulls fans. I cannot stand. But the Jets are the worst, dude. You guys are punching out ladies. You guys are getting into fights. It's.
Chris, let me make something very clear, and I say that full-heartedly with my beautiful wife right in front of me. If any woman swings with her closed fist on a man, she deserves to get punched like a man. Okay, that's the bottom. That is as true as it is.
That's coming from a true Jet fan right there.
Listen, I respect and love women. I teach my daughters very, very much how to be ladies. And I'm telling you right now, if a woman with a closed fist especially swings and punches me, she's going to get a closed fist back at her. All of this nonsense we have about chivalry, it is respecting women, and as long as they deserve the respect. When a woman wants to act like a man, she's to be treated like a man, and that's the truth. So that woman and that Patriot, if you watch the video, the first woman swings and hits him, and then that same blonde woman swings and hits him, and he swings back one time. He obviously pulled his punch because he's a big guy who, if he would have landed a real haymaker, she would have dropped. Okay, she would have been busted open or dropped, and neither one of those things happened. You can see her later on in the video still stumbling around like a dopey, drunken Patriot fan. So,
but there's no other fan base that has that video, man. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we have audio here of, when did you guys play the Tampa Bay Bucks? Earlier in the season?
That was preseason.
First week of the season.
Okay, we have audio here of your youth, is the Al-Qaeda youth that's going to grow up as a Jet fan.
You stink, Bubblehead! Your defense so sucked, you're gonna get out of New York! I know! In your face, loser! They're gonna score in your face! In your face!
That's a Jet kid, dude, yelling at a Tampa Bay grown-ass man walking out of the stadium.
I think he's 5 years old.
Listen, that's a parent's responsibility to stop that from happening.
But the parents are Jet fans.
The parents egging him. The parents picking him up. And
you don't hear
him.
the guy heckling in the back of the audio?
But here's the thing is again, listen, every fan base has a knucklehead who wants to sit there. Look, you guys got guys who get dressed up in full, makeup and capes like they're, Captain Comeback over here, Captain Courageous, Dolphins over here. They're dopey people in all sects of life over here. I'm going to tell you a little secret. Back in the day, I don't know if they do it at the new Meadowlands Stadium, new MetLife Stadium. At the old Giant Stadium, and I'm okay saying Giant Stadium, at the old Giant Stadium, it's an infamous gate D, okay? And
when they open it?
What they would do, they would go, and at halftime, the guys would sit there on the helix, on the ramp, that you have down here in Sun Life too, and they would sit there, and they would throw change and dollar bills into the center of that, okay? And it would be a collection of cash. At the same time that's going on, you've got women flashing, pulling their tops up like girls gone wild. You got a bunch of debauchery going on. It was well known. And what would happen is
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, you're right. And what they would do is they'd wait until some fan of a visiting team would go down into the middle there and see all this money at the ground level and start collecting it. And as soon as they started picking this money up, they'd throw beer down on them, they'd piss on them, they'd spit on them. I mean, they would do all this stuff, whatever, and it was like a stupid thing, a tradition that they would do. I mean, it was really animalistic, Lord of the Flies type crap, and they would do it because it was just a barbaric nature over here, to the point where they would put extra security, extra cops. People were getting arrested every game for just being a part of it. So yeah, there is a little bit of that, but the reason that Jet fans are pissed off is because we've earned it. At the same time you guys were winning with Dan Marino and Bob Greasy and all this stuff, we were sucking. We were losing. We were going 1-15, 3-13. We had to deal with Rich Kotite, Neil O'Donnell, Boomer Esiason, Ken O'Brien, Bubby Brister.
I remember.
Richard Todd. I mean, the list goes on and on all the way back to the Broadway Joe, who I still believe that stupid movie from Little Nicky, right? The little Adam Sandler movie,
right,
where he's the son of the devil, where Dan Marino turns around and says, come on, just give me one ring. And he goes, you did it for Namath. I really believe that Joe Namath sold his soul and the Jets' soul for that one Super Bowl. Okay, I really do, because since then it's so close, and yet so far away, and so we have kind of got beaten over. And while this is happening, We're watching the Giants win 1, then 2, then 3, now 4 Super Bowls since we won our last Super Bowl. So think about how pissed off you are. Think about how pissed off you are when, your big brother, basically, who you share a room with, is sitting there and he's succeeding in all these things. And, you can't get your software company off the ground because you're waiting for your Uncle Sid to just lend you that extra $50 to be able to afford the logo in the business cards. I mean, that's really how the Jets are here at this point. So we've kind of been, we've earned it. We've earned the pissed off nature that we have as Jet fans.
So what you're
and
saying
nobody can
is,
take that away.
You're saying the Dolphin fan in about 20 years will be what the Jet fans are now?
You know what? From your lips to God's ears, I swear to you, my friend.
I disagree. They're going to stop following the Dolphins, just move on to the Heat.
I'm almost there
Well,
now,
no,
Diz.
that's the
I'm
problem.
almost there now, Diz.
You know what? That's the problem, though, is that, it's funny because, we get a number of callers who want to represent the Dolphins, obviously, and I say that flat out. You're not indicative of who I'm talking about when I say the fair-weathered Dolphin fans, because the majority of Dolphin fans are just that. They're fair-weather. And if you don't believe me, you know what? Go back the last couple of years and see how many thousands of tickets have had to be bought at the last second by corporations, TV stations, and the owner. Okay, go back to that to see how many thousands, because Dolphin fans give up. Okay, and it's not just Dolphin fans, by the way. Okay, if the Heat go back into the gutter, the Heat fans won't be there. The Marlin fans aren't there. All of these people, they don't show up, and it's because it's number one, it's such a transient society.
Yeah, that's it.
Number
That's
two,
one of them.
there's so much other shit to do down here that people are like, why am I going to bother spending $100 for a ticket, another $50 to park, another $70 in food and drink, just to go to watch my team lose in the hot sun? I mean, it's just one of those things that people don't want to do, and I don't blame them for it.
Hell yeah.
I don't blame
Preach
them
it.
for it.
Preach it, brother. Preach it.
And they're spoiled because they had so many good years. Yeah, they didn't win Super Bowls, but you know what? There's so many good years. They had 30 good years of good teams where they knew that they were going to be right there, 9-7, 10-6, 11-5, winning divisions, getting to the playoffs, not really making it, but at least they knew they were going to see on a regular basis during the regular season a winning product. They were going to see Dan Marino. They were going to see the Marx brothers. They were going to see a good team. And the last 10, 12 years, they haven't seen good teams.
Nothing.
Hey, you had 1 year. You had Chad Pennington. Okay, that was such a blue balls thing. I can't. I laugh at it every day because that was like, we got a shot. And what happened after that? Absolutely freaking nothing.
Yeah. What's funny that you say about that, all the good memories of the Dolphins are not mine. My earliest memory as a Miami Dolphin fan is when Dave Wanstead was hired as the head coach.
Well, Chris, I mean, that's why. I mean, you're what, 24 years old?
Yeah.
What do you know?
Yeah, 24.
So I mean, you have no true firsthand knowledge. You're right, because 14 years ago, you're looking at Marino's last year, really 14 years ago, and you're 10 years old.
Right.
I mean, you're right. You really have no firsthand knowledge of the the things. But your uncles over there and stuff. Your friends, they're a little bit older. They've got firsthand knowledge of it. So. Your generation, you're right. You're too busy with your new iPads. Are you going to get the new iPad? It's half a pound lighter, by the way. So make sure you run out and get
And
that
8
thing.
times faster.
Yeah, I know. You'll be able to play Call of Duty or whatever on it. That's wonderful. So you can go and shoot some Korean kid or something. I don't know. I mean, but that's the other problem is that you guys are so otherwise bothered by everything else going on in the world that
Right.
you guys get the attention span of like ferrets with espresso IV drips. I mean, it's really what it comes down to.
That's it.
You guys
You got it.
so many other things going on.
Listen, we can't all hate on Diz because he is a Canes fan, and he's a big-time Canes fan. And were you down here during the 2000? When did you move down to Miami? I didn't even ask you.
I moved here in February 2000.
Okay, so did you go to any of those runs of 2000, 2001, and 2 when they were winning?
When they were winning, I was there. See, my Hurricane fandom, though, starts back in the 80s. Because, and I've explained this a few times, that, we don't have a college football team in New York in the metropolitan area. Syracuse is 6 hours away, and Rutgers is 3 hours away. I mean, all these colleges are far away. Rutgers doesn't even have really a program. Penn State is 4.5 hours away. So, it's one of those things where you sit there and you go, okay, well, you pick a team usually to kind of, go with. My brother is a huge Florida State fan. It's that sort of thing. I picked Miami because in the late 80s, I identified with them because they had the same attitude that I was kind of portraying, being from New York, that same swag, as they called it, the fatigues, everything like that. Jimmy Johnson had this, devil-may-care attitude about him. The team just was a bunch of roughnecks, sons of bitches. And I loved it about the team and everything. And I kind of, like I said, identified with it. and that's why I kind of carried it over. When I came down here, that was the one team I came down here with already a built-in, affinity for. So yeah, I went to the games. I went to the Orange Bowl. Remember, the Orange Bowl holds a special place in my heart because that's where Super Bowl III was held. So I remember, my first year down here in 2000, I wanted to be down there for one of the first games of the season because I wanted to see where, Joe Namath won that Super Bowl, where the tunnel, the infamous shaking the finger in the air as he's walking into the tunnel. I wanted to see all that. And so it just became a natural, connection with me and that team and everything, especially, and my fandom kind of grew from there. Then the Jets, they draft Santana Moss, they draft Jonathan Vilma. It becomes even more. I mean, both of those players they end up trading. Thank you very much. But it's one of those things where you still go, all right. You feel that real love for the team and for both teams, and there's a connection.
Diz,
I'm happy with what happened, by the way, today. I'm completely happy, and there's nothing to bitch and complain about.
No, I agree with you.
Well, before we appreciate you coming on. Before we let you go, we had Troy Stratford on last week, and he gave us a shameful admission that he's a gossip guy. He likes the gossip. He eats it up. Basically.
Gossip websites, gossip channels.
Yeah. That Troy gave us that shameful admission. Gave us a shameful admission, man. That something happens that you do that your wife doesn't know, or well, maybe not that much because I don't want anything with your pants down, but like something that you do that is just. If people in the studio found out that they would give you shit for.
What do you want to hear? You want to hear something? You want to hear something real, or you want to make something up? Like, I like to fuck with a candle lit in my asshole. I mean, what do you want to hear? You want to hear something
real?
Something like I play Dungeons and Dragons.
All right, guilty admission.
Yeah.
Is I actually enjoy watching The Housewives.
So you're the same guy. You both love the Channel
E. He likes gossip stuff. I don't know what he's talking about. He likes gossip crap over here. I'm not a big fan of gossip. I watch The Housewives. My wife got me into it. At first I fought it. I will tell you this though, I still can't stand Sex and the City or the Kardashians. But the Housewives, I can put up with them.
Okay, so you're still part man. That's okay then.
No, he's not part man because he's a Jets fan. We appreciate you coming on, Phil. Coming on with us. We always like it, man.
Well, Chris, you do a hell of a job, and I wish we could have you more often on our show here. But anytime you want me back, just let me know, man.
Well,
Thanks, Diz.
A few weeks, when the Dolphins play the Jets, we got to have you on before and after. To see,
absolutely.
It's like a month. What are you talking about?
Who could eat
It's
crow?
so late this year.
We'll have you on then when the Knicks. Whenever there's a Knicks, Jets, New York, something, we'll have you on so we can trash talk.
I think the Islanders come down here soon. I don't know.
Who do they play? Who's in Miami?
Don't call me for the Islanders, by the way.
I have no idea who they play against. All right.
What sport is that?
Yeah.
I think it's soccer.
Appreciate you coming on,
All
man.
right, Diz.
Thanks.
Peace, man.
No problem. See you guys later.
Bye.
Thanks.
Does Drogba play for them?
Listen, you know what? What happened to all the bashing? I was the only one that was bashing the Jets here. What the hell?
But that was a pretty
Into the
cool
mic,
conversation.
Bopple. Into the mic.
That was a pretty cool
George.
conversation.
Yeah. He was talking. I was listening.
Yeah, I know, but I was like,
didn't
bashing.
turn-
Alan brought the Jet fan
I
kid.
contributed the 5-year-old Jet fan.
Yes. Alan brought the Jet fan
He didn't turn
kid.
me off the way I thought he would. It seems
What are you
like a
talking
guy-
about? He said no Dolphin fans are die hard or whatever.
No. His description of Dolphin fans, unfortunately, I think is pretty accurate.
But it comes from a Jet fan's mouth, so it doesn't count for me. Anything that seriously, I hate the Jets more than I like the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I do. I dislike the
I've
Jets.
told you before
more.
that there are specific times when I would trade a Dolphin win for a Jet loss.
No.
Absolutely. I want misery.
I have.
Misery.
I can't. It's the only thing that makes the Dolphins' loss better is to watch Rex Ryan with that perplexed look on his face and the Jets getting.
It's just the scumbaggy
I
green.
can't stand. No, I can't.
You suck. Your defense is leaving New York.
You know what the worst part about it is? The parents are the ones that are recording that.
And laughing. That was my point. They're laughing in the background.
Freaking Jeff.
That
fans.
just goes to prove that people aren't qualified to be parents.
We have a lot of sports to come in the next segment because we only got 2 more segments left. We have NFL, Heat, Canes, World Series. We have Carlos' segment. Do you have a segment in you?
I have one. I don't know if I want to go to it, but I have one.
Okay, well, maybe we can go to that. If not, and we have Come Mierda. It's going to be huge. Don't go anywhere. We're almost done.
Welcome back. Want to try that again? Welcome back, listeners of the Sports Table. Week 7 of the NFL season. Brutal. Body bags, corpses everywhere.
For real.
In a game featuring Coach Kool-Aid versus the Texans. The Chiefs win 17-16. Stemmer.
Did anybody tell Stemmer what
I told him what we were doing.
Oh, okay.
You didn't make it clear.
All right, give it to somebody else we can catch on.
Carlos.
What game we talking about?
Oh, God. Are we really going to start off this segment like this?
Kool-Aid wins. Done. In one of the most brutal rivalries in all the NFL, the Steelers defeat the lowly Ravens 19-16. Chris.
Ben Roethlisberger knows how to rate people, and he definitely got the same way with the who did they play? The Ravens? Yeah, and the Steelers won 2 in a row. Are the Steelers going to win the division? Because I don't trust Cleveland or Baltimore.
Speaking of which, in a game with cheese versus poop, the Green Bay Cheese
Golly.
defeats the Cleveland Poop 31-13. Allen. Hell yeah, Aaron Rodgers won me my game. Screw you, Cleveland. Screw you and Dan Gilbert.
Dan Gilbert.
Mm-hmm. you heard that right. In an exciting game, the Bungles defeat the Lions 27-24. Stemmer.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford, franchise quarterback, not.
Did you see that Megatron catch, the Madden Megatron catch, where he went up and 3 guys were draped on him?
That guy's amazing. That guy's amazing.
It was all Madden catch. That's one of those catches in the game where I go, bullshit!
Was that Mike Wallace? Mike Wallace made that catch?
Hey.
Has Mike Wallace made a catch like that this year?
In a rousing game out west, the 49ers defeat the Titans 31-17. George. Copernico, tremendo guy. That guy, tremendo guy.
Oh my God, man. That was a good one.
In a surprising victory, although not that surprising considering how bad the other team is, the Panthers defeat the Rams 30-15. Chris.
You know the Panthers are the 3rd best defense in the league, and Sam Bradford, what he tore his ACL?
ACL,
yeah.
Is it official that guy's a bust? Get that guy out of here.
Bust!
I saw a thing. He gets hurt every other year.
He was.
And
the
when
last,
he doesn't get hurt, he sucks.
Yeah, he got the last mega contract as a quarterback, drafted first overall.
Yes, he did.
Before they rearranged everything, and he doesn't deserve a dime of it.
He's stealing.
In the most anticipating game of the week, the Colts defeat the Broncos 39-33. Carlos.
Teamwork makes the dream work, man. Let me tell you something. Andrew Luck came out dreaming, and he came out playing, and poor Peyton Manning, I guess after all was said and done, although he played pretty well, it was a nightmare for him.
Oh my gosh, Dr. Seuss.
Hey, you know what's funny? You brought up that thing that the Dolphins haven't passed 26 points.
Yeah.
No, they haven't.
The Broncos 33. That's the lowest they've scored all year.
I know. Is how
Jealous.
Yeah, but
so
dude,
jealous.
you're comparing apples and like banana seeds. Like,
so jealous.
That's a very
LeBron scores more than that every week.
it's true.
The shit-faced Jets defeat the boring and hated Patriots 30-27. Stemmer.
Satan wins.
So
That's good
wait,
enough.
who are the Jets in that one? Because who's Satan beat?
Satan wins.
Choose
one.
No, I get it.
Hooded troll, guy who coughed up a 3rd grader to lose a couple pounds.
Oh God.
Choose one. Pretty boy who doesn't throw as well as he used to because he doesn't have weapons. I don't know.
You know what it is that there are certain stadiums that are on high terror alert. That's one of those. If I'm the FBI, I'm like, that's all right. Let's ignore that one. I hate the Jets.
I hate the Jets.
Friend of the show's Ricky's Giants.
Yep.
Finally achieve victory against the lowly Vikings and the oddly starting Josh Freeman.
Yep.
Allen. Hey, look, man. I guess somebody's got to win eventually. If Vegas says you're favored, I guess it's okay.
That was the worst Monday night game I've ever seen.
No, they said it was. They actually, that's like fact. They worst 2 records on Monday Night Football ever.
Yeah.
That's a good thing they put it on a primetime game.
Seriously.
Have you seen the primetime schedules this year? They're horrible.
The Dolphins.
The Thursday,
the Dolphins were
the
on
Thursday
there,
and Monday night schedules are horrific this year.
Yeah.
You know what the trick is? ABC has the flex schedule, so if their game is horrific, they get
NBC.
out of it.
NBC.
NBC, whatever. them.
NBC's had a bad slate of games too. The primetime games have been bad.
Well, that's not true. The Broncos-Colts game was pretty good last week.
Okay, name another.
Pass. Oh, no, the Patriots-Falcons. That was another good one right there, too. That was a good game.
Only from my fantasy team.
I would agree with you if the Falcons were respectable.
It was still a good game.
Speaking of the Falcons, the Falcons defeat the lowly Shiano Buccaneers. 31-23. Carlos!
Wow. What a horrific football game. I wouldn't wish that. That was worse than the Monday night game. I wouldn't watch that.
They scored 31 points.
How about the
horrible.
teams that are lining up in victory formation from the shotgun? Because Shiano's such a scumbag.
Yeah.
It's wow. He needs to get out of this league. He's gonna be fired.
He's gonna be gone. He's the
fired
next,
quick.
Hey,
soon.
he's the next FIU head coach, guaranteed.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
I'm telling you right now, that's the next FIU head coach. I guarantee it.
The Rutgers connection?
No, it's
Shiano.
The Shiano and Pete Garcia.
Yeah,
How
UM
do
guys.
they know each other?
The UM guys, both of them. Yeah. And the barn burner of the week.
Yeah.
The racist slurs defeat the Chicago Bears 45-41. Stemmer.
I'm getting over the racist slur. Chip Kelly, what's going on?
Chip Kelly.
Wait, you got the wrong.
What are you talking about?
I know, dude. You threw me off with the racist slurs.
Speaking of Chip Kelly,
Oh, it's the Bears. My bad.
the Romo's Cowboys defeat Chip Kelly and his innovative offense 17-3. I'm not sure what's so innovative when you've got Foles at quarterback. And let's be honest, at one point...
Did you call your name?
Huh?
Did you call your own name?
No, I forgot.
I give
Great,
you
we'll leave
I'm thrown off by Stemmer's laughing. I'm sorry.
Derail, man.
Alan!
He killed me.
Yeah, so at one point you think Romo's selling his soul like Brady and Belichick.
Satan doesn't want him.
Like, it seems so unfair that he lives like in A-Rod land. Everything always
Satan
works
already
against
has
him.
Nick Saban. He's got Belichick. He's got enough coaches.
Kanye West.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones tried to buy Satan. That's the problem.
Oh my God.
In the Poo Thursday game on NFL Network, the Seahawks trounced the Cardinals 34-22. Chris.
Why did you give me this game? This game was so irrelevant.
Because of the other two games after that, I'm figuring you would at least enjoy a game with points.
The Cardinals, they suck. How does Carson Palmer still play in the NFL? How is that possible?
It's a Ponzi scheme.
And Seattle's good. Seattle's probably the best defense in the league. They might be the best team in the league right now.
In a game of a revived quarterback and a team full of corpses, the Chargers defeat the Jacksonville Walking Deads 24-6. Carlos.
That's a horrible game. This week is full of crappy ass games.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Matchups that I wouldn't watch. I wouldn't watch Jacksonville play. I wouldn't watch it if it was the only thing on TV.
Jacksonville still has a football team?
And now we have a moment of sadness. The Buffalo Bills, along with all their women whose 10s would be our 2s, defeat the Miami Dolphins, driving us to 3-3, a 3-game losing streak, and all kinds of sadness. We will start with our most ardent fan, the man who argues the colors of the team, Carlos.
I'm so tired.
His hands up in the air. I'd be preaching, Alan.
What you didn't see is he wrote it on the paper to let me know.
I'm so tired. I'm just tired. I'm tired.
Next, we go to another long-tenured fan, full of sadness and understanding, Stemmer.
Hi, Mike Sherman. What do we do with you?
I thought you were going to stop at I.
I don't know where to go. Fireland, Sherman, Philbin.
Is everything with Fire and Sherman? Because Fireland is so clever.
I have so many nightmares.
By the way, do you think God set that up? Because his name spells Fireland. The Jeff Ireland together.
I don't know.
Next, we follow up with our youngest fan, the one fan that had hope, Christopher.
The innocent.
You know what I am? I'm a child of
Naive.
Afghanistan. I'm a child of Afghanistan. All I know is war, rubble, misery,
Sadness.
shame,
Decay.
and death.
Irrelevance.
That's what I am. The Dolphins start off 3-0, sure. Do I have a little hope? Maybe.
You fool.
Do we have a quarterback?
Maybe.
Possibly. But yet, they show their true colors. They're not even the real colors, like Carlos says. I'm going to even admit that. They're a Carolina blue. Just like my heart.
I'm so tired.
And we finish
Do you know what Carolina blue is?
It's like sky blue.
Yeah, it's with a dolphin on it.
And we
A little
finish
whale.
it with the emotional anchor of the sports table, Alan. And you guys wonder why I don't feel anything, man. I mean, this is most of my life. I just watched this. That's why I'm so even keel. Ay.
Oh, gosh. Oh, we need the other segment.
Wait a second. Is that the wrap? Is that the end of it? You got to wrap it up.
And that was this week's games of week 7. And all our pain about the Dolphins.
That was great, Alan.
You're
Good
welcome.
job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job.
You're the man.
No one runs down the NFL like the sports table. I'll give you that.
No, it's a very unique way of doing it.
A few things I want to get into the NFL and some other sports. Adrian Peterson apparently is on the trading block.
Nah.
Apparently.
Not well.
I heard a little bit. Yeah, I heard a little bit.
ESPN had it up there of different teams that he should get traded to.
But I don't
A
think
slow news day, huh?
because he's worth $12 million next year, $13 million the year after. I don't think anybody's going to give him
Into
what
the
they
mic,
want.
bro. Into the mic.
I don't think anybody's going to give him what they want. He's worth it. His contract's too big. They don't pay running backs in this league for that money anymore.
Well, you know, that and the fact that he is 28 on his way to 29. You know what happens to backs after 28, 29, and 30, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And he's a physical specimen. I'll give you all that. But
he's had knee surgery.
this is
He's
not
got
a running
hammy-
back league.
He's got a hammy issue this year. I agree with all those. I just don't see anybody giving the Vikings what they're going to demand. It's just not going to happen.
If we're being honest, it's just ESPN didn't have anything else to talk about.
Right.
They
Well, it's
they
'cause
saw,
Tim
they
Tebow's
saw,
taking
they
the
saw that
job.
team go to crap. They see Spielman in cover my ass mode.
Now, maybe Jeff is experimenting and thinking about this and saying one more shot, get me a running back.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Yeah, but
if he's doing that,
You know
he's
the
not
Dolphins
going
were on the
after
board?
AP though.
They
He'll go
wouldn't-
he'll
they
go
wouldn't-
after
They
MJ.
wouldn't
Maurice
use him
Jones-Drew.
properly. They'd split him out wide.
Yeah,
They'd try and get him
they'd
in
use
space.
him like they were supposed to use Reggie Bush.
Only on third
Exactly.
down. We use him on third down. He'd be a third down specialist.
He'll move.
We'll run Lamar.
So
we'll
what?
run
He's gonna be
Daniels.
best at the end of of his career.
We
He's
drafted
only there.
Lamar. We got to use that guy.
We drafted Daniel Thomas. We traded
All right.
up for that
All right.
dumbass.
If we're being honest, he's not going to go after AP, which does still have the upside of being bleeping Adrian Peterson. He'll go after Maurice Jones-Drew
yeah.
and bring the stench of Jacksonville down.
Mhm. He's
And then
hurt.
our team's going to smell like a paper mill.
He's still hurt.
Of course he is. And
Yeah.
we'll trade for him.
That's
Hey,
okay. We
hey,
like
got a chance.
hurt players. Remember our draft?
Hurts
Dallas
good.
Thomas hurt.
Hurts good. Fat's good.
Deion Jordan hurt.
Party bus.
Taylor hurt. We draft hurt players.
Party bus.
Brent
Big
Grime
Mac. You know
came
his
off
name's
of
Big
yeah.
Grime, we signed a free agent guy with
I
an
found that
Achilles
online.
problem
Yeah.
or
So
knee problem.
perfect.
You know what's gonna be in the Gatorade coolers? Scissor.
Oh, it's going to be purple drink.
Yeah, that's
All the
scissor.
Gatorade's purple.
That's scissor. It's just gonna be full of Jolly Ranchers and
Who was it that was asking about that when we said it last time? They didn't understand what that was.
I think that was
Was
Carlos. I mean, George. George didn't know what that was. By the way, Peyton Manning loses again in a big moment in Indianapolis. The wind was open, cold weather, whatever. Peyton loses, and Tom Brady doesn't throw another touchdown this game again. Peyton Manning's on record to break all the pace. You know, what is it, 24 touchdowns?
Yeah, he still
whatever.
got 3 in the last
Yeah.
game.
No, he's still doing good. He lost, though. And Tom Brady isn't looking that good.
Correct.
Who's the best quarterback in the NFL? Is it still Peyton?
No, it's Rodgers.
No, it's Peyton.
Right now?
Right now, yeah.
Who's
right.
actually better? I think it's Rodgers. I think Peyton is so close, and at this point, is just surrounded by so much better stuff.
You know what? And look, we could have debated for a time Brady, Peyton, Rodgers. You could have debated the three of them, whatever, you know. But there was a night they were playing. It was because he's been on prime time like 15 times already, and he would literally walk up to the line. He'd make all his little adjustments, and he'd throw to an open space in the field and laugh.
Yeah, I think they had a gift for that one. Where he's just looking and smiling to the sideline.
And he's just, I think he's he's just seen it all. He's processing it all. Like he's just at that point right now where
he better process with that cocoa in his head.
Seriously.
Well, there's
that dude looks like he has a server tower.
He's
in his
got
head.
Stonehenge.
And
head.
if you want to, and the one thing I'll say is, okay, if we're gonna go deep with this, the only advantage to give Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers could probably take more of a beating, move around a little bit more, but I just it's hard not to pick Payton. I mean, he's just incredible right now.
Okay, I'll go into this like this. If you're asking me who I think is physically better, it's Rodgers. If the discussion is who's playing better, yeah, it's Manning. But how
about if I tell you got to win Sunday?
Tell me against who.
I'm taking Payton.
I'm taking Rodgers.
Taking Payton.
Change of pace. The Heat are going to start in a few days, 8 days. Against the
I'd
Chicago.
like to have some championship music along with that.
Chicago Bulls. No, that's reserved for after. There was a poll that was out. Did you guys see what the poll was?
Yeah.
All the GMs in the NBA were polled, and 76% of them said the Miami Heat will win another title.
And why did they say that?
Because those 76 are tanking this year.
That's a great point. We talked about this.
Yeah.
Well, aside from that happening, they all are trying to put as much pressure as possible on the Heat.
Well, but I also think I bet you we could name if we chose. We could name the GMs.
Philadelphia.
No, the
ones that did.
That is one that said no.
Steve Kerr in Chicago did not. Think
Steve Kerr's the GM of Chicago.
Yeah, who's the? I think it's Steve,
not
Steve
Paxson.
Kerr.
Paxson.
Oh, the other blonde-headed shooter.
I was to say I like Steve
The
Kerr.
other
Don't
white
ruin
guy.
it for me.
No,
I hate
The other white
Steve
guy.
Kerr.
I guarantee you, the guy out, the
I'm sorry.
GM for the Clippers, no, doesn't believe they'll repeat.
Brooklyn?
Probably the guy in Brooklyn doesn't think they'll repeat.
Crocodile.
76%. What is that? What numbers? How many teams do we have to come up
what's
with?
76 of the
Come on, man.
Prokhorov
Don't make
still
me do
believes
math.
that,
What is it,
that
32
the Russian
I think so,
Empire
yeah.
exists.
No, it's not that he
He's
does,
the
he-
Russian mafia.
He's
What
a
are you
czar.
talking
He's
about?
still a czar.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
dude's
So
that dude's rocking party boats
I'm not worried
without
about
internet.
That guy doesn't scare me on the basketball court. He just scares me overall.
Oh wait, now I'm gonna go find fake Mikhail Prokhorov.
So the Heat are they're in a good spot.
I think they are.
Yeah, they made some moves.
I think they're in an excellent spot, actually.
The Canes, they get lifted. The sanctions get lifted. And what do they get?
They got three loss of three scholarships a year for the next 3 years.
Yep.
They got probation for 3 years and something else minor. Nothing important.
And Frank Haith was suspended for like 5 games.
And the bigger deal is you have the guy. There's 3 coaches that got that show cause 2-year show cause. I think they're not allowed to do anything, and it's NCAA unless they resolve whatever it is they're going to show cause for.
Mm-hmm. The NCAA is so irrelevant.
Yeah, I think they lost a lot more face than the University of Miami did. I thought they lost a lot.
I'm going to talk a little bit more about them in a little bit, but their biggest mistake is when they screwed up and Donna Shalala opened the door for a settlement. They could have very easily settled behind the scenes, and this would have all gone away. There would have been the constant just attack. Because think about what happened. That all goes down, and so now Miami's waiting for all of the COI and all that crap, dude. And you get them dealing with the Manziel thing. It became embarrassing for them time after time again.
Yeah. NCAA in 10 years, I don't think is going to exist.
I think it has to. You have to have a governing body.
It'll be something different.
It might.
It'll be something different because I mean, what did Ohio State get or USC get? They got 3 years of something.
2-year ban, 10 scholarships a year for 3 years.
Yeah, lost like 30
for what? For Terrell Pryor getting a tattoo?
No, that's
if
Ohio
you're talking
State.
about SC, it's for the Reggie Bush.
SC
thing.
was and Gerard Mayo. But I think there's a lot of different because I looked it up today because they were complaining on the air about USC. I kind of shifted my view on that a little bit. The thing to me about if I remember, that was the Lane Kiffin years,
yep.
And they were very brash about it. They were was very cooperative, very open door. I think USC would basically put up both middle fingers and said, "Okay, prove it.
Come get us." Yeah.
Well, yeah, because since Reggie was no longer there, they went ahead and said, "Hey, you can't prove anything. He's not here. Go after Reggie Bush."
And Gerard Mayo was a big part of that too. And then Pete Carroll, who skips to the NFL. And but I mean, there's no rhyme or reason behind what they do, and I hate big time institutions that are in control that do that. That just drives me nuts.
The Kings are gonna get crushed in 2 weeks.
It's a distinct possibility, but I've seen UM-FSU games that have been.
I will tell you it's possible. I'm not one of those blind Canes fans. I'll tell you it's possible, but UM-FSU, I don't know, man.
If it's a blowout, it's an FSU blowout.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Miami won't blow them out.
You know how Miami wins?
Keep it close.
Miami wins by doing what they did to Florida.
Yeah.
Just being very safe and being able to force FSU to do things.
Get one turnover, 2 turnovers, or get something late.
Yeah.
But if the Canes turn it over 3 or 4 times, they lose by 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's one difference between the Florida game and FSU. That Winston kid is the truth.
No, there's
famous Jameis.
That Winston kid is the truth.
There's like 26
with an F.
There's like
Truth with an F.
If we're gonna talk about college sports, how about the guy in Texas, Paul Brown, right? Mac Brown. What's his name?
Mac Brown.
Mac Brown.
Right.
Have you seen the list of quarterbacks that escaped him in his heyday when they were the stuff?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking Manziel. You're talking Winston. You're talking RG3. I mean, you could even go to Ryan. Ryan Tannehill's better than the Colt McCoy brothers they've had there.
Right.
I mean, it's amazing to me how many quarterbacks escaped Texas and he never even took a look at them.
Mm-hmm.
It's embarrassing.
Well, he looks like he's going to be gone pretty soon, too. And that's where Golden will go.
Yeah.
See you later, Golden.
He seems like an East Coast guy.
Why?
He seems like
because he's only been to 2 schools in the East Coast.
Yeah, but I gotta kind of.
It's where the money is.
The Texas oil wells open up. I mean, the gusher comes.
They're probably
$6 million, and that gusher is yours. Take that oil well on
They're
field
probably
4.
one of the schools that can just throw bags of money in Al Golden's window at night.
I think Texas makes more money off their network than most of Africa makes in GDP.
They're just gonna give him a freaking oil rig.
They're like, listen, we have a bountiful plethora of Mexican workers for clean your lawn, your pool, whatever you need.
Wow, dude.
Whatever you need.
You go to some strange places.
Use your
sometimes,
resources.
Man.
The World Series is tomorrow, guys.
Woo!
I know.
Excited. I'm excited about the World Series.
Listen, I hope the Cardinals get crushed. I cannot stand the Cardinals. I don't like them, even though they have some good players. Like I like Matt Holliday and Beltran is pretty cool. Other than that, you can't go against the Beards.
The Beards are strong, man.
The Beards are amazing.
The Beards are strong. They're hitting the ball well. Their pitching is not great. Their starting pitching, middle relief, and relief pitching is strong.
But once you get towards the end, those Japs,
they're freaking tough, man.
I think you got to believe in Boston because Boston beat a great pitching staff. They beat a great pitch. Like I never thought that pitching staff would get beat.
Well, not only did they beat the pitching staff, I mean the Tigers can hit the ball.
Yeah, and that's why I think
great
Boston,
games.
I think Boston's pitching a little better than you thought. But and St. Louis did the same. I didn't think St. Louis was going to dominate as much because of the Dodgers pitching. It's going to be a pretty good series, I think.
I think it goes 6 Boston and 6.
Alan, are you going to watch any of it?
No, but I will cheer on Boston because A, they have beards.
Yep.
B, they would piss off the Yankees.
Yep.
And C, they would defeat the Braves 2.0, the fun-killing Cardinals.
How is it that you can root for somebody that you're not going to watch?
I could just be like, yeah, that's a good thing, okay, and I'll go back to whatever I was doing.
So that's not really active. That's not really active rooting, though.
Do I look like an active rooter?
But that's what you said. You said I'm going to root.
Yeah, I will. And if someone asks me, I'm going to say I'm picking the Beards, and then I will go on with the rest of my day.
Right, but active rooting.
Alan and active don't fuck.
No, I haven't been active since I was like 15. I'm done. I played basketball very inactively on purpose because they yelled at me when I was active. I was fouling out too much.
We're going to go to break. We're going to come back with our favorite segment, Come Mid of the Week, so don't go anywhere. There's nothing, you know what it is? This is the cold, refreshing beer after a long day of work.
Oh, yeah.
That's horrible.
What was that?
I'm pouring a beer.
Not only don't I like
what kind
beer,
of slushy
but God,
beer?
that sound.
Yeah, what kind of slushy, cruddy
And you wonder why I don't drink beer.
I had it in the freezer. But you know what we didn't talk about? We haven't mentioned Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest.
Yeah, how did that go for you guys?
Fantastic.
Chris?
Fantastic.
Do you remember it?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, it was not a slobber knocking drunk
No,
fest.
It wasn't.
Ah.
It was a very cultured, very good, family
It was.
oriented.
It was a good job.
Spectacular food and
Food was
great beer.
The food was great, dude.
Only rivaled by the beer.
Only rivaled by the beer, and the beer, we got a lot of, man, this doesn't taste like beer. A lot of that.
Uh-huh.
So you would have preferred it, and you would have been like my girlfriend. No, it still tastes like beer.
Uh-huh. You underestimate my dislike for beer.
We are back in the sports table. Final segment. It's been a good one so far. A lot of Dolphins talk. A lot of good interviews, though. Unfortunately, Defo actually sent me a text. He's on for next week. So, we'll see how that goes with this guy. But we're back, and we're going to do Come Mierda of the Week, or as our very own Stemmer calls it, Come Mierda. You know what I call that? Give me the Bud Adams. Rest in peace. That's what I wanted. That was the game that I wanted. I wanted the Tennessee Titans game. Whatever. Come Mierda of the Week. Someone want to go first? Someone want to jump in?
I'll go first.
There you go. Way to step up.
I'll go first.
Way to step up.
And let's stay on the theme of the Dolphins.
Let's go.
Let's get back to the roots of this Come Mierda show part that we do here.
Okay.
Jeff Ireland. Woo! Let's start with Jeffrey. Jeff has failed the Dolphins. He's failed the fans. He's failed his team. He's failed his owner.
His daughters.
He's probably even failed his daughters because now he's going to get fired and not going to have a job. And
Go fire yourself, bro.
They're going to have special schools to go to, and he's not going to be available or able to afford it. Let me tell you something, Jeff. You bought yourself a lot of nice toys. You bought yourself some Ferraris. You bought yourself some Porsches. You just forgot to put batteries in them, man. You did not do what you needed to do to make this franchise take a step forward. Our fear as fans is that we're going to go 32 games, and because we don't have an offensive line, because we don't have a tight end, we're not going to know whether we have a quarterback or not. And we're staring the future right in the face. No general manager, no coach, and possibly no quarterback, which equals no team. Jeff Ireland, you're my Come Mierda of the Week.
Come Mierda!
A staple in this freaking segment.
Yes, he is. Second and last Come Mierda of the Week.
Second to last or second and last?
Second and last.
Okay.
Second and last. This is a very special individual.
Okay.
Federal Air Marshal
Oh, I heard about this.
Adam Barge. Adam. We have the internet, Adam. You have access to porn everywhere and anywhere, Adam. All you've got to do is grab your laptop, grab your iPad, lock yourself in a room somewhere, and go to town, Adam.
Oh, man.
Please, you do not need to be snapping pictures of women as they walk down the aisle, Adam. You are a federal agent, Adam. Adam, you're a federal agent. You have a badge. You have a weapon. You're in the plane to protect these people, not to exploit them. Adam, for the love of God, you're lucky you still have your job. You've only been suspended.
Are you serious?
Yes. As of yet, he's yet to be fired.
Nah.
Adam, I hope your wife leaves you, man.
Oof. I don't even know what's going on, but oof.
Adam,
You didn't hear that
for
story?
No, I
snapping,
haven't. I've been in the
for
kitchen all day.
snapping pictures as women walk by in their skirts while you sit in your aisle seat on the plane as a federal marshal in a plane. You're my Come Mierda of the Week.
Creepy Come Mierda.
Seriously. The guy's like, there's a bomb. And he's like, yeah, I know. Click, click.
Yeah, I'm busy right now. Click.
I'm going to go second. Is that cool?
Just don't steal mine.
Oh, shoot. You know what? You should go ahead of me then.
All right.
Yeah.
That's because you got a plethora.
I've got
yeah.
like 12.
So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
bring down our wonderful music. I have a sound to demonstrate my Come Mierda this week.
Okay. You want me to play it? Or are you going to talk
Yes,
into it?
yes, please play it.
Okay.
Let's move over to Vontae Davis, who was part of a secondary who really did a stellar job on a team that was scoring 44 points per game. How did this defense, what do they have in their minds coming in to face this offensive juggernaut, if you will?
Well, we had a good week of practice. We prepared really hard for Tom Brady. So I think it just carried over from practice into the game.
Standing ovation came before even it started.
Grandma ain't proud of you, Vontae. Vontae, you were in the same division as Tom Brady. He ain't left that team. He ain't wear no orange on his jersey. He ain't got a go-go with a server for a head. He ain't danced that much before he snaps the ball. He ain't have Manning on the back of his jersey. Vontae! Come mierda! Grandma ain't proud, Vontae. Grandma ain't proud.
Oh my God. Is that the only one?
Yeah, he didn't get a strong one.
He doesn't need anything
else.
else.
They was come mierda.
That was a good one. That was one of mine, but I'm crossing it off, so I have 6. You want to go ahead of me or what?
I might as well. I might as well because who knows what's left. Actually, it doesn't matter. I probably a couple ones I don't have. I have a couple. I don't get to come every week, so I don't know. Maybe some repeats or whatever. I'm gonna start off with the guy you mentioned, the guy that actually tweeted out he would still take Derrick Rose over LeBron James to start a franchise. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking this guy shouldn't have a job. Like, if you make that statement, you should automatically be disqualified for any sports jobs you have. First of all, Derrick Rose took a full year off. Just decided not to help his team try and win. And whatever, that's his decision. That's fine. He's talking about how he has so much more lift now. He's amazing. He's incredible. He's the next 5 MVP winners. But LeBron James, they're talking about him in the same sentences legitimately now as the best of all time, Michael Jordan, which it's always hard to compare, but I used to be one of those guys that LeBron was in Cleveland, you had Kobe out in L.A., Dwayne Wade was here in Miami, and I used to be one of those guys, no, man, Wade's as good as those guys. LeBron came here, Wade ain't got crap on LeBron.
He knows
ain't even
it.
close.
He
He knows it.
Yep.
And for you to say that you would rather have Derrick Rose than LeBron James, you are one big come mierda.
Hey, good job on that
You
one.
deserve the repeat. Come mierda!
Nice job.
My second one, and this is because I'm a Dolphins fan and frustrated,
Sorry.
and I got to find everything to blame. Let's talk about the NFL referees. They suck.
Hey, leave Hockey Lee out of this.
They suck all the time. I don't even know if Hockey Lee had a plan in this. But, you saw the end of the Patriots-Jets game. Nick Foles tries a 51-yard field goal. They throw the flag. We're pushing. I don't know, some stupid butt rule that's in the rule book. So the Jets get to win a game. That's the first reason why I get pissed. But come to find out, comes out today, they got photographs, video. The Dolphins, at the end of the Ravens game, kicking a 57-yard field goal, and they missed it. The same exact thing happened. Nary a call. Didn't even happen. 15-yard penalty taken off. So for that, and the fact that you seem to only call the calls you want to call when you call them, enough for referees. Come mierda.
Oh, man, mierda!
Next, I'd like to talk about the villainous NCAA. The NCAA, we talked about them in reference to the case. I want to talk about the exploitation, the slavery ring that they run. It came out today. Alabama Athletics makes $143.4 million a year. Let me say it again. $143.4 million Alabama makes.
Good God.
I wonder how much money Ethiopia has.
A kid sells his, let me repeat that, his championship ring so he could feed his family. He's suspended for the year. Yeah, you're done.
Unbelievable.
You go on the NCAA website. You type in the name Johnny Manziel, which I don't really like the guy. I think he's a schmuck, but whatever. His jersey comes up and they sell it to you for $75. But Johnny Manziel can't sign a piece of paper and make money. This is one screwed up system. This is slavery to the nth degree.
Yeah.
And yes, they get an education. That's great.
Do they?
Well, according to you, Frank Gore did it. So for that, the NCAA, uno come mierda.
Corrupt.
Hey, man.
Come mierda!
I like the Uno on that one.
My last one is the one that pissed me off the most.
There you go. Bring it.
over the years, this guy, he's been a likable owner because he goes on Twitter. He's always communicating with the fans. He's always talking. And those of us, especially here in Miami, we have the secretive organization. But let me tell you, Jim Irsay, you are a one big schmuck. Because you came out this week and you talked about Peyton. And look, you can backtrack all you want, but you said we should have won more championships, and you were demeaning to Peyton Manning. Do you realize Peyton Manning built your house? Do you realize he built your organization? Do you realize that Peyton Manning made you relevant? You can be on Twitter. You can be on ESPN because of Peyton Manning. That's it. It's not anything you did, anything spectacular. You're a rich guy who got lucky. And by the way, you got lucky not once, but you got lucky twice, you bastard. Because you went from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck, who is the next coming. God, you're a freaking scumbag because you threw this guy under the bus. And look, if what the story you're telling is true, he told you to go get Andrew Luck, and you disrespected him. You are the biggest piece of crap come mierda I've ever seen in my life. Scumbag.
Ditto.
Come mierda. Damn. That was harsh, but it's the truth. My turn. Where do I start? You know, I'm going to start out with the Dolphins. Seems to be a theme here. We all know who this kid is. Plays right tackle. What was his name?
Turnstile.
Yeah, exactly.
Claybo.
So Claybo gives up 2 sacks at the end of the game. He calls it himself. He's like, it's on me. You know, I suck. What am I going to do? I suck. He didn't say I suck, but basically what his quotes were. So the press starts asking him and prodding him, well, what about this? Why did you give up this play, that play? They talk about the 2 sacks against Mario Williams, which is a freak of nature. He impregnated Ryan Tannehill.
Yes, he did.
You saw the picture,
Yes,
right?
I did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a coach, the offensive line coach. His name is Jim Turner. Did you hear what Jim Turner said?
Jim came to the rescue.
Jim Turner had to defend his boy, and he says, quote, you're talking about 2 plays in the whole game. He's one of the best players in the game.
I think he was referring to Mario Williams.
No. He was talking about his boy Claybo there, guy. If he says Claybo... No, he was talking about Claybo, right?
Of course.
Of course he was saying... Because I read it off the article and it said Claybo.
I think they took him out of context. I think he meant Mario Williams. But that's okay. I'll go with you on this one.
He's my come mierda of the week.
Come
What? Claybo or the coach? 'Cause they
all
both
of them.
Everyone involved, including the unborn child of Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, God.
Come mierda.
It's a baby one. All right. My second one is the Terminator. Did you hear what this moron's trying to do? This son of a bitch is trying to change the law of this damn country, the one that his grandfathers died for. Not mine, because mine was in Cuba.
Yeah.
But his grandfathers died for, so I can get my freedom and uphold the laws of this Constitution. And this Austrian prick is trying to change the law and become president of my country, the United States. Talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I know.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is
Why are you talking about me?
Trying to talk to Congress or whoever to change the law so he can run for president of the United States.
fellow Americans.
This is a reality stunt, isn't it? This has to be surreal. This guy ended up being the governor of one of the biggest states in our country. Is that not enough?
I'm the governor of California.
Does he have to bankrupt already more the rest of this country?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, he doesn't have to do it. It's already been done.
Yeah. Unless Barack signs a executive order making it okay for him to be president.
He's gonna run on principle. He said, "Yes, we're going to bring down the debt." And then when he runs into
I'm going to tackle the debt with a machine gun.
he's gonna be president. And he goes, "Remember when I said that? I lied.
I'll be back."
Arnold Schwarzenegger for trying to change the laws of this country so you can run for president of the United States. You are my come mierda of the week.
The come mierda. Yeah.
My next come mierda of the week is a Hall of Fame basketball player. His name's Bill Russell.
I thought it was going to be Sylvester Stallone.
It's a terrible.
I'm sorry. It's limited. It's really a Judge Dredd one. I am the law. That's all I got. Yeah, go.
Bill Russell.
Wait, what's the geek about Sylvester Stallone?
Oh man, just being able to talk in somebody else's language or voice.
You can't imitate anybody?
I can barely imitate
You
myself.
imitate Jeff Ireland's daughters all the time.
I don't do a very good job of it.
Bill Russell went on into an airport, and this guy won 10 rings, so he thinks he's the shit. But he tried to bring a gun on. He's like, hey, you know who I am? I'm Bill Russell. Let me through. Sorry, Bill. We don't let you through. Bill Russell tried to bring a gun onto an airplane. Can you think about that? Can you imagine a 7-foot guy trying to sneak in a gun? He's 7 feet tall. He doesn't even fit under the scanners.
Why are you
So you
yelling
know
at
he's gonna get
a
hand checked.
Muppet, man?
Because
Why
of
are
his
you
skinny
yelling at a
arms.
Muppet?
Bill Russell for trying to sneak in a gun into an airplane. You're my come mierda of the week.
Come mierda. No one else thinks he looks like a Muppet?
No.
I have a few other ones, but they're not that good. This one is the last one. This one is my true come mierda of the week. It's a person called Carlos Peguero. You know who that is?
Peguero. No.
Peguero.
No lo conozco.
Is he a penguino?
No lo conozco.
He's the outfielder of the Seattle Mariners.
Ah, okay, I know what this is. Got it.
Do you know who the best player in that team is called? Do you know what his name is? The pitcher. They call him King Felix Hernandez.
Felix, yeah.
Okay. Mr. Peguero's wife decides to take the debit card of Mr. Hernandez's wife.
Because they're good friends, and she's helping her out. She doesn't know the country very well.
She takes the debit card, and now she's facing federal charges for using this debit card. Because she went to 5th Saks Avenue. Take a guess at how much money she spent.
$25,000.
180?
I'm going to go in between the two and say 50 grand.
$180,000 this lady spent.
Boom!
Holy crap.
I did it!
She spent $180,000 of Felix Hernandez's money.
Holy crap.
It's not his wife's money. It's Felix Hernandez's money. And guess what Carlos is telling her? Babe, guess what? We're moving out of Seattle because they're not going to bring us back. Because Felix Hernandez is going, listen, this mofo just tried to steal all this money from me. Get him out of here.
Or I'm gone.
No. He's not going to say I'm gone. He's going to say get him out of here.
No, he's saying I'm gone because he's Carlos.
Oh.
And Carlos is gone.
She tried to steal money, $180,000.
She preyed on a poor woman who doesn't even speak English.
Wow.
Just let that settle. Imagine if James Jones' wife tried to take LeBron James' wife's card and use $180,000.
No, because that doesn't even. Imagine James Jones' wife taking advantage of the wife of a European player. First time in the country.
It's the guy that runs the team. That was the angle.
No. The angle is the wife that doesn't know any better, and then you're taking advantage of it.
Don't take my fucking come mierda,
I'm
Alan.
not. I'm correcting your story.
No longer you're coming in.
Why are you yelling? I don't understand.
You completely just.
I dominated it.
You did Peguero's wife.
I dominated it. Hit my machine gun.
All right, that's it. Peguero's wife. You're my come mierda of the week.
Terminated.
Come mierda.
You took all the wind out of my freaking sails, Alan.
I am the law.
Well, George wasn't here. Somebody had to do it.
Golly.
Almost
Let
got
me interrupt
done.
you.
Almost got out.
Let me interrupt you. I'll be back.
Stop with that. Thank you, Time.
Get in the chopper.
I swear to God, your mic is off. Thank you, Time. Thank you to Defo and DefoRadio.com. Defo, we'll catch you next week. You text me back, so we'll have you on next week for sure. So we can talk anything but sports. Thanks to Mike Lubitz for coming on. It was a good interview.
Mike, you were good.
Mike did a good job. Thanks.
Panthers lost, though. He's upset. You should text him.
How many people has he pushed out of the way?
Are you out of the arena yet?
Thanks to Diz for coming on. Phil for even though he's a Jets fan, he's a Canes fan. He's a good guy, so appreciate him for coming on. Thanks to Alan, not for this show, but for putting us up on YouTube. He always does a good job with that. Look for us up. YouTube Miami. SportsTable Miami on YouTube. Look us up. Everything is up there. Facebook, Sports Table Miami again on Facebook. Look us up, like us. we post funny stuff up like all these come mierdas. Yo, Carlos, Twitter.
Sports_table. Follow me. I got a lot to say.
That's my favorite line. I got a lot to say.
Got a lot to say. Stemmer, get your ass on Twitter. Follow me. Everybody that sits at this table has
Twitter.
to follow. There you go.
I'll only follow you if you respond. I can't stand it when I try and talk to people through Twitter. I get crap back. I hate that.
You'll be the only one that's messaging him, so he'll get back.
That's right. I mean, I only get 2 or 3 a day.
So for Theo Carlos, Stemmer, Reluctantly Allen, Theo George.
Who's in Chicago? No, wait, he's tomorrow, so he couldn't come today.
I'm Chris. We are the Sports Table. Hey, the Dolphins played against the Patriots. Do they win?
Lose. 5-game losing streak on its way.
I can't even. As much as I love him, I can't.
We'll all see this next week. We'll catch you guys next week.
Peace.
No, the question is Bryant McKinney block better than Clavo? That's the question.